Just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Bloke in a Bar, brought to you by Bloke in a Bar Beer, a sports network with its very own beer. We're highlighting some more stores this week. IGA Express, Balcombe Hills, Bowley Point Liquor Barn, Harry's Liquor, all stores, the Royal Hotel, Orange, the Botolo, Northcote in Victoria, IGA Mossvale, Bartlett's Tavern, Rockhampton, East End Hotel, Bundaberg, Star Liquor, Ayr, Westbrook, Tavern, Toowoomba, Federal Hotel, Ipswich. Also, we have a huge announcement. This podcast, first ever official tee, because I have Tom and Eddy of Tom of Hello Sport fame. The first ever collab between Bloke and Hello Sport. The official tee of this podcast, of the Wednesday podcast, unveiling to you now. Beer soon.
Oh, baby.
There it is. And it's all in the colours that we're wearing. It is dropping at 6 p.m. next Wednesday. 6 p.m. next Wednesday. Make sure to be there so you don't miss out. Boys, I think we've done pretty well with this one.
Gorgeous.
We've done very well.
Gorgeous.
And you want to have bought the first, when we have taken over the sporting landscape in 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, we're en route.
Maybe even 24 months.
Yep.
You want to say to your mates that you got the first official tee of the podcast.
Well, there's only ever one first official tee. You know what I mean?
There's not more than one.
No, well, it's impossible.
It can't be done.
No.
This is the first official tee. After this, it's like a rerun or a second edition or a third, which is cool.
No, that's all good. And we'll be asking you to buy those ones as well whenever we get to that point. But there's only one first official tee. This is it. 3 colours. Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Great colours. Great colours.
I tell you what.
Beers soon on the back. Yeah, righto.
Oh, sorry, one of the great taglines all time.
All time.
You're welcome.
All time. And that's directly from HSP. It's a shirt that women want to be with you, blokes want to be you.
It's a shirt.
It's a real shirt.
It is. Yeah. It's one of those ones where it's like, I can wear it out, and then the misso can also wear it to bed.
True.
You know what I mean?
It's a shirty shirt. You know what I mean?
Well, you can dress it up like me, where you just roll a couple of sleeve lengths if you're maybe, working on your body, trying to get fit, showing off some muscle, or you can just have it down like Edward and Denon here.
Or if you want to signal...
Do you call that the grease lightning?
We call that the grease lightning.
Kaniki?
The Kaniki, or the whatever Travolta was called in it.
I don't know. But you get what
You can roll a pack of darts up in there. We're not encouraging you to smoke, but it looks cool if you do.
Honestly, I think that's a signal that you say can't, chance and dance. If you have your shirt rolled up like that, you're basically screaming to the world that you pronounce your answers like that.
Yeah, grease lightning.
It's the answer roll.
It is the answer roll.
Don't you think?
Grease lightning.
Absolutely.
But, as Tom's
it's a
pointed
versatile
out,
shirt.
It's so versatile. It is so versatile. The black, you could wear this to a wedding.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
could
problem.
see that. I could see that. Absolutely.
Christenings.
You could wear it chopping wood,
Yep.
sinking
Chopperoos,
piss,
sinking
The
piss.
Chopperoos would wear that, I reckon.
going for a surf. Yeah, of course.
And what I
Cutting a
like
rug,
about that is
dancing.
like when you rock up with that black shirt, it's like dressy, but you turn around, you let them know I'm ready to party.
Yeah.
Things are here soon.
Oh, look, I am slimming, but I'm also ready to fucking rock and roll.
Well, you dress it up with a nice coat or a jacket, something suity,
Or a
but
blazer.
then you dress it down with jorts, you know,
sure.
thongs, boardies.
Yeah. No
Skate
quicker way to
shoes.
dress something down than putting on a fresh pair of jorts.
Yeah. Jorts will dress anything down.
Yeah.
Always said it.
Over the knee as well.
Yeah, it's got to be. And like cut very roughly at the
But
bottom.
this will pair beautifully with a jort.
Absolutely.
Beautifully with a denim jort.
Yes, denim
over the
jorts.
knee.
And that's the sign of a good shirt. If it can pair well with a jort, it can do anything.
Yeah.
It can.
Always.
Pair with a
always
cord.
said that.
Pair with a denim.
Yep.
Khaki.
So look, if you want to take your game to the new level, grab this shirt, Wednesday, 6 p.m. It's, you don't want to sell out, guys. You don't want it to sell out. So be there or be square.
We want it to sell out, though. I will.
We want it to sell out.
We'd
But
love
we're
for it
not-
to sell
We're
out.
not going to put just one shirt up so that we sold out, though.
No.
We're not about that stuff.
No.
No, there's going to be enough to go around, but you got to be quick
Yeah.
because you never know.
Put it
You
this
never
way:
know.
we want it to sell out, but if you don't buy one, you don't love us.
That's
You're
kind
going
of
to have enough opportunity to buy one.
And these aren't coming back.
Nope.
Think about that.
And
Think about that.
do you actually love us?
Are you a fan? Do you support the show?
Yeah. As we sit here week after week, just fucking
Week
turning
after
up.
week after week.
Turning
after
up.
week
I had fucking foot and mouth disease.
3 hours here.
He
4
sucked the
hours.
devil's
I
dick.
sucked the devil's dick for you guys. You can't buy a t-shirt.
Fuck, he's literally got a big devil dick in his mouth. It's
And-
even got the devil colours.
Why do you think I'm wearing the fucking red? Because I had to. It's part of the clause.
Got to wear red.
So anyway, Wednesday, 6 p.m. next week. Mate, the week of footy that was, How was your weekend, boys, when it comes to footy?
Manly won, so it was fine. And that was a Friday, so it had a big bearing. When you're in lockdown as well, like if your team doesn't win,
Friday
if your
6
team's not
p.m.
winning,
as well, early.
Yeah, it was just early on the Friday, early in the week. Manly
That's
had
a good
to get up.
start to the weekend.
It was a great start because the weekend doesn't really get above your team winning because you're in lockdown, right? So it's kind of there, and then it just...
Yep.
It was a good start, but I've got to tell you, I've really got my eye on September now. This is just going through the motions.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I'm like, I want to get into September, start fucking knocking motherfuckers off.
Yeah.
Start getting to the big dance in
I want to end
October.
seasons.
I want to start lifting shit. You know what I mean? I don't really give a shit about these rounds.
You
now.
want to start inflicting pain on people that support other teams.
I want to start taking souls.
Yep.
And going, oh, another soul.
So you're in the soul-taking business right now.
100%. End of the season, soul taking business.
Soul-taking season.
Just kind of like...
Yeah. September is soul taking season.
So tax season has just gone.
Yep.
Well, that's usually
June, July.
Oh, yeah, June, July.
Is that the normal punter's soul-taking season, tax season?
Yeah, well,
that's when the punter soul is taken by a big tax man. But in September, the best rugby league sides, Manly, obviously, that's when they start taking the souls of other sides.
Yeah.
Soul taken season.
Soul-taking season, boys. I reckon Desi would have said that at least once. He would have said, boys, it's soul-taking.
It's soul-taking season.
I can imagine Wayne saying that. Bellamy definitely says that.
Oh, they all say it.
Well, all the best coaches say it.
Yeah.
And
We told them to say it, now they say it.
So do you think that the reason why some clubs struggle in finals footy is because they don't give the soul-taken season speech?
Well, some teams don't have the ability to take souls. That's just the reality. It's the haves and have-nots, and there are some that can take souls and others that can't. And there's only a very few teams in this competition this year that have the ability to take souls. It's about 4 to 5. Everyone below us on the ladder can't take a soul.
No, not to save their life.
No.
Do you think that...
Wouldn't know a soul if it bloody...
Just bloody knocking them on the head.
Do you think oomph and soul taking is directly correlates directly?
Well,
or
a team that can take oomph can take soul. A team with oomph can take soul.
the amount of oomph you give directly correlates to the amount of soul you take.
You got to have oomph to take soul.
Okay.
You can't take souls without oomph.
Yeah.
Obviously. But the thing about taking souls is that you can inflict generational damage.
Yeah.
Damage that cannot be reversed.
No.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Damage that is constantly referred to.
Yeah. You can have oomph and not take souls as well. I know it's going to start confusing people
that is
here,
getting
but
deep.
you do need oomph to take souls.
You're getting a bit exy, aren't we, on that?
I know, dude. And sometimes we do
look,
it.
This is
This
our
is
field.
what you got us on.
This is our field.
This is what you got us here.
Your field is finals footy soul taking season. This is where...
yeah.
Oomph, omenry, and soul taking season.
You could say woo-woo. That's what we do. Leave the woo-woo to us. You do the X's and O's. Boring shit. Really good stuff.
Well, who do you think, who is the grim reaper of soul taking then?
Well, in the last 20 years, it's been Melbourne, for sure.
Yes.
But as in person. If you could name one person as a grim reaper of it gets to soul taking season and you're going to send him out as your champion, who would it be?
Taker of souls. Like one?
Yep.
Fuck.
In the last 20 years?
Yep.
Of the last 20 years of soul taking, well, shit. Because, there's different ways to take a soul.
Greg Inglis is
Greg
just
Inglis.
in my mind because
Yeah.
he won a lot. He played for Queensland, and there was a lot of souls.
Well, he took a
taken
lot of
there.
souls. He took a lot of New South Wales souls.
But he
It
also-
probably is Greg Inglis, actually,
Yeah,
now
you
you
know
think
what?
about it.
You know
He
what?
took like 3 souls in one go once. Remember where it was like Matt Cooper, Wolfman, Anthony Quinn or something? It was like, oh, shit, 3 souls gone, just
Inglis
like that.
is actually ended careers nearly.
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah. He'd be chief soul taker of the last
He'd
20
be right
years.
up there because he can take a soul on the spot as well. Some
Literally-
teams will take 80 minutes, but he can take one bang.
He literally reaches out, and that's what he's
That's his
doing.
way
When
of
he's
taking the
fending,
soul.
he's actually taking souls.
Yeah.
You know who an undercover soul taker? Cooper Cronk.
Well, you can't win
almost-
3 premierships straight and not take some souls, right?
He's almost
Like-
the Dexter of soul taking. Bit of a nerd.
But yeah, you're an
Undercover, you don't know what's
unsuspecting
going on.
soul taker.
Yeah.
I like that.
He's more of a backroom guy, sort of how many souls have I taken this week?
Yeah,
He's more of a numbers man.
Yeah, when it comes to the soul
He's not like a
taking.
purist in the sense that
Yeah, okay.
Stevie
That's what
Maddai
you mean.
took
he doesn't
souls.
kick the door down and go, fucking give me that soul.
Yeah,
Shoulders
that's
of
true.
Justice took souls, for sure.
Yeah, we took him week in, week out.
Yeah.
But in terms of September souls,
Yeah, it's Kronk, it's Inglis. The Storm in general.
Storm period.
But
Joey.
Matt or
Joey took
Joey.
souls.
He took a lot of souls. There's
Not a lot of September souls, Joey. Sorry, you only won 2 comps. I know that's 2 more than me.
But
and it's
Origin
still a lot.
souls?
He took some Origin souls.
Like that
Oh, God, yeah.
2005 Origin sold?
Yeah. Oh, he took some souls that night.
Wow, he took
Why
some
do you reckon
souls.
we keep talking about it? Why does everyone talk about that game?
Yeah.
Because it was the largest
Soul
loss
taking
of souls.
in one go.
Yeah.
They literally had SOS at the end of the game, save our souls. Like,
Yes.
Queensland wrote that on the field,
Yeah.
SOS.
And
Planes were flying over, crashing shit, thinking they were on a fucking Bermuda Triangle. But
No
it
one
was
could
just
save 'em.
Queensland save our souls.
no one saved him, just as an update. Souls are gone.
Yeah. Joey didn't allow him to be saved.
No. He just went and burnt him. He was just like, no, yeah, fuck, I don't even need him. Sorry.
He smoked him.
Now, on to the actual topics of rugby league. Segment 1, Brisbane, expansion. The Firehawks, the Redcliffe Dolphins, the Brisbane Jets have all made presentations to Australian Rugby League Commission on Monday. They also, I'm surprised, the Brisbane Brown Snakes weren't involved. Can
Well,
you please
I'm,
update
Brown
I'm a
us?
little bit
Snakes.
concerned.
Yep.
Is that a typo, potentially?
He's been known to make a typo.
Well, that's what I'm
He
that's
did
what I'm
print
checking.
an entire fucking thingo for your sort of your trade thingo, didn't he? Printed
Yeah.
all landscape.
He printed it
Should've been
literally
portrait.
one word per page.
Yeah.
It was like this high, and we had to flick through fucking each one.
Waste of trees.
He had about 7 weeks to prepare too.
Yeah.
Well, this wasn't fucking.
You
I
try
was-
to blame it on Officeworks, you know.
Yeah, the good old office. Oh, like Officeworks are like, duh, we don't know how to use computers. That's literally what they do.
Blame it on the
Like
professionals.
printing is what they do. It's like going, oh, Joey didn't know how to pass.
Yeah.
Officeworks are the Joey of printing.
Yeah. If you drop it and Joey passed it, it's your
It's
fault.
your
It's your fault. Like, imagine trying
What are
to.
you talking about?
It's basically that. All it says is Maddie's trying to blame Joey.
Yeah. You're trying to blame Joey. Officeworks are the Joey of printing.
Yeah.
I couldn't have put it any better myself.
Fucking oath they are.
And you're
you go
trying to-
in there and they're like, what do you need done, sir? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm in a rush. I know there's usually a queue, but I need you to cut that thing. And they're like, of course we can, sir. 'Cause
We
we're
can
the-
do whatever you
we're
need.
The kings of printing.
It's like a player outside Joey's like, and he's like, oh, Joey, what do you want me to do? And Joey's like, just fucking be there,
Yeah.
and you'll get the nut.
Yeah,
and that's
and don't
what
drop it.
Don't drop the nut.
son.
Catch the ball.
And Maddie's walked in and dropped the nut.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking-
and it hit him on the chest as well.
And then, yeah, fucking oath it did.
Joey
Walked out.
nutted all over his chest and he still fucked
And then
it
he
up.
comes back and goes, fucking Officeworks. Fucking Joey.
Yeah.
Didn't
Imagine
print it
Joey
right.
nutting on your chest and you dropping it or being upset about it and trying
You
to
don't
blame
get
him.
many opportunities. If the first time he's going to nut on your chest, you better take it. Otherwise, you'll never get that opportunity again.
Yeah, you
They-
better keep that forever.
They've got a picture of Maddie at the front of Officeworks. Don't let this creep in.
No.
Drop nut.
Shoot on
Do
sight.
you reckon he did it that way so that you were like, shit, he's done a lot of work?
I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when you lie about a word count in an assignment or
Yeah.
something.
And
Yes.
you put it all
Put it all in
white.
white so it
Yeah.
looks like the word count's hectic.
I think so too. I think that that's a fucking very good point. We'll be talking about that later. You've clearly tried a wool pull. That's
It's a
classic
Woolpool. It's a classic Woolpool. And I
should've
mean,
seen
and I
it.
You got to
bet
get up pretty early in the morning to wool pull me, mate.
Fuck, you're on fire today. You're taking souls.
taking souls.
You're
It's
taking
soul taking
souls.
season.
It is. I told you, I'm in a mood.
Okay, so Brisbane Firehawks. Firehawks. So I actually listened to the interview from the Firehawks guy. What I like find really interesting is like someone, and this is going to sound really bad, but it's not supposed to be. Someone that's like actually really business savvy that loves footy. Do you know what I mean? Like hearing the business side of footy.
Is that Richardson? Shane Richardson? Or is he
Yes. And he was like banging off like,
talking about all the finances and all that
and
sort
I
of
was like,
stuff?
fuck, that's
It
impressive.
was impressive, yeah.
That was a good PowerPoint.
It
I'm like,
was.
fucking give him the Firehawks.
Yeah. I'm
I
already
was
in.
done.
I'm across the line.
Where are the Firehawks set to be based?
East, I think. East Leagues Club. But they also said they signed a contract with Rockhampton. Maddie, could you please check that out, please? But yeah, so when he gave that presentation, just a small one, I was like, fuck, bring him in. Why aren't they? I was like, why aren't they already here?
This looks good.
Because they were saying, so he was like, Broncos have assets worth, I think, 56 million. Broncos have 15 million in the bank, I think.
Yeah, I think that was what it was.
And the reason why he would know that is because Broncos is a publicly traded company. And so obviously, they have to do an annual report and people get to see the financials and everything. They can be skewed certain ways, but we won't get into the fucking
Let's
X's
not
of
get
that.
into the X's and
We won't go that
O's.
deep.
Nitty-gritty.
We're here to talk footy. Whereas Firehawks have 25 mil in the bank. They have assets, I think, around
80?
30.
I think you said 80 million.
30 million more. Sorry?
Yeah, it was 80 million. Do you want me to read out where they're located? So the Firehawks bid was to leverage off a north-south divide in Brisbane, with the club basing themselves south of the Brisbane River. They plan to plan their home games at Suncorp Stadium. They intended to redevelop the home ground of Langlands Park to become a suitable training base for the team.
Okay. And so basically Firehawks, Richardson was saying that they have no debt, they have the league club there as a backing, but they actually don't want to rely on the league club.
No, they're like, any bid that's saying they were going to rely on a league club is fucked before they even start. They've got all the shit they need. I was like, oh, damn.
He was a PowerPoint operator. I saw
he looked like he probably needed a shower and a shave.
But that's almost like when they come in like that, that's a big dick move. Yeah. It's like, I'm such a big dog.
I don't give a fuck.
But it also says, look how much time I've been spending on my PowerPoint.
I forgot to shave.
You know?
That's true.
I couldn't spare a single moment.
You know what's funny is reports. I'm not sure if this is true, but Seabold actually rocked up with a fake beard.
Oh,
to
really?
The Broncos interview.
That would surprise me.
To show
he glued it on.
Feeding him. I haven't slept. I've just spent all this time because you can tell. You look at Seabold; he couldn't grow a fucking.
That's all allegedly. That's all allegedly. But apparently,
was it just like one of those Santa ones where it like loops around the ears and like hangs down?
Or did you get a pro job done?
No, it was just a home job because he was rushing. He had a PowerPoint. And he like got ink from his pens and he put it under his eyes, so he looked all baggy. And he walked in like all fucked up. And they were like, holy shit, you've been working on that PowerPoint.
Well, we've always wondered what it was that got him 5 years with a sixth in his favour.
Yeah.
Is that the greatest deal of all time?
It's the greatest deal in rugby league history.
It's the greatest deal of all time. What have you done? Oh, I've had one good season.
But I made this PowerPoint.
Mate, I tell you what.
And I look dishevelled because I've been working heaps hard.
Like, the deal that he got, and like, yes, it didn't work out, and no knock on him or whatever, but that is honestly one of the greatest deals of all time. Like, to go to a club like the Broncos, 5 years with a six in your favour.
Yeah, he will pull the fucking biggest club in the comp. Will pull.
And they moved on the greatest coach of all time.
That's actually the craziest part of it.
Like,
fuck off, Wayne.
It's like, from a pure business perspective, it's one of the greatest deals of all time.
For him. And is it one of the dumbest things that a club's ever done?
Maybe not. We'll see.
I'm not asking you to be biased or not. I'm just saying, is it one of the dumbest fucking decisions ever? Moving on the greatest coach of all time.
So the Seabold thing.
One of the shittest.
I actually think that it. I actually think that the disaster wasn't necessarily the Seabold deal. It was pushing Wayne early. I think that if they had have brought Wayne in on the handing over of the reins, the same thing, because like Rabbitohs have moved Wayne on. And yet, look at the different situation the club's in.
It's been handled
well.
So
I think that the biggest issue was because Wayne had already agreed to the deal, like in the sense of like I think he wanted to coach one more year, and so I think that the biggest mistake wasn't actually Seabold or choosing Wayne to leave. It was not allowing Wayne to leave on his terms. And then, because I think if they had have handed everything over properly, there wouldn't have been all the pressure on Seabold. There wouldn't have been animosity between the loyalists in Wayne's camp and the loyalists in Seabold's camp. You know what I mean? All that divide wouldn't have been there because Wayne would have given his seal of approval.
Was there not also I know we're going back over old history, but like a bit of a they fucked Kevy?
Well, I don't know how true. I don't know. Like,
he was given a handshake deal and then they reneged on it, and that's what caused division amongst the old boys and the current playing.
I love the Brisbane old boys. They're they're their own team.
Yeah, like a good team. I'm not sure. Maybe not. But I think that even if that
are you an old boy? You'd know about it.
Oh, massive old boy. It's like all these legends talking. It's like, you're an old boy. It's like, I cleaned their boots once. That's about it.
Yeah, but you're now actually bigger than all of them. So.
But you were still cleaning the boots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
Still part of the club.
Sanctum.
Yeah.
Still part of the club, mate.
But
I used to break into your house and fuck everything up, dude. That's a good time.
They fucking did it. I think that even if that did happen or didn't happen, I still think that if they had handled it properly with Wayne's departure, they would.
You reckon you wouldn't have won the spoon?
No, I don't think so. If they had handled that properly, I think that we still would have struggled a bit. But I think that Wayne gives you seal of approval. There's no massive media backlash and this, all these different divisions and political stuff. I think it would have been handled better. Do I think that we would have gone well? No, I still think we would have struggled in the middle of the table, probably like 10th, 11th. But, obviously coming last. Spoon.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Anyway.
How do you think a second team will go in Brisbane? Because it's obviously going to fucking happen, right? Like, it's happening. How do you think that'll go?
Look, I think
it's kind of cool.
I think it's like you have to have Wayne involved somehow. That's the key.
Do you think it's going to be hard for them to wrestle like fans away from the Broncos? Because it's been a one city or one club town for what, 30 years?
Yeah, I think I like the Firehawks presentation, but that's why I think that if you're looking from that perspective, you're better off going probably the Redcliffe Dolphins or the Jets, because like especially the Redcliffe Dolphins, they've got like a pretty established base, and they're like quite north of Brisbane. So you could argue that Sunny Coast might come into the fold. Like if you go more towards the Sunny Coast, you'll get them. Then you've got all of Redcliffe. You've got the north side of Brisbane that might, kind of jump on board as well.
Shout out to the Sunny Coast, beautiful part of the world. Went there earlier this year.
Oh, beautiful!
Just wanted to shout them out. I love it.
Good for you, man.
Thanks. Thanks, guys.
It's very polite of you to shout them out after visiting their area.
I was just like, no one talks about the Sunshine Coast enough because it's fucking amazing.
It is amazing. Who do you think, like, in your mind when you said shout out Sunshine Coast, who did you imagine that was going to hear that and be like, thanks, man?
Whoever the fuck lives there. I don't know. I was just cruising around. Is Noosa part of Sunshine Coast or am I just off? Yeah. Whoever's in Noosa, because that place was phenomenal. It's like a fucking holiday town.
So if you are from Sunshine Coast and you're watching this on YouTube, leave a comment and say thanks to you for shouting out.
shout out.
Yeah.
And that it made you feel good. If it made you feel good.
Yeah, exactly. If it made you feel good, say thanks, Tommy, for shouting us out. Appreciate it,
You guys don't get the love you deserve. It's Brisbane, fucking Gold Coast. Nah, fuck both those places. Sunshine Coast is where it's at. It's the only place I'll live if I move to Queensland.
You're a good guy, you know that?
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Like, to shout out a place after going there, that's a fucking good thing.
I don't know if we called him out on this show either, but a couple of weeks ago you said you were from the country in Queensland because you lived in some place in Queensland, the name I don't remember, and we had plenty of people DMing us going, he could basically piss in the ocean from where he lives.
Okay, so I didn't live on 5.5 acres. That was the argument wasn't I'm country.
He did say country, right? I mean, he was talking about country.
I was asking you whether I was country, and
I said I don't know the area.
Yeah,
I was pretty
and
clear
I said
about
I don't know. That's why I said I've got no identity because I lived on.
If you got 5.5 acres on the coast,
you're not in the
but
country.
I wasn't on the coast. But also, you can be country, like there's country that are on the coast.
Yeah, but not in Gold Coast.
Yeah, but I'm not on the coast. But I'm just
you're a
saying
coastie.
So
that's what we call them in New South Wales.
Yeah,
okay.
you're a coastie.
So a coastie.
Like you can't be like, if you're not in a city, for example, you're like on the south coast, you can't say that you're from the country. You're a coastie.
Let's wind this back a bit. I never said that.
I think you did.
I was asking you where I would lie because I don't live on the coast. I live about 20 to 30 minutes inland, which is all hilly hinterland.
But everyone's telling us that you could piss into the ocean from where you live.
Anyone that says Mudgeerbar is pissing into the ocean doesn't know where Mudgeerbar is.
Okay. Well, now I'm
There's
confused.
farms and shit.
Now we don't know.
Now we don't know because I'm like,
questions.
am I going to take you at your word?
What do we
Mudgeerbar's
take
the
the
hinterland.
dribblers?
Like Mudgeerbar's the hinterland, literally.
So what, like the hinterland, like
farms. There's farms everywhere, horses and shit.
okay, like Bangalow?
No,
do you know Byron well?
No.
Okay, so that won't work because that's a hinterland.
Yeah,
though.
but that's not country. You wouldn't call that country.
No, that's what I'm saying.
You can see the ocean from the
I'm
hills.
trying to get a read on where
You
he's
can't
at.
see the ocean. You can't see the ocean from Mudgeerbar. It's fucking 20 minutes inland.
Leave that in the comments. Is he from the country or not?
Oh, fuck, here we go.
Or is he a coastie?
Is he a coastie or from the country?
Country or coastie? And like,
Mudgeerbar,
answer honestly.
Mudgeerbar is not on the coast though.
But people are saying you can spit into it.
No, you can't though. I live there.
If you've got a morning stream, you can piss into the ocean from Mudgeerbar, is what we're being told.
On my street, you literally drive up it and there's farms, like left and right on either side.
But is
Farms with horses
is there water back in?
No.
Okay.
It's 20 minutes inland from the ocean.
20 minutes not that far.
No,
but
20
especially if it's winding.
Yeah, meandering
If it's
roads.
meandering, then you've got to pull over every now and then for a big truck to come through. That's going to add time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's just take it back though. I never said it was.
Well, I don't know. I think you might have.
So we've moved this
You
into
said you're a country boy.
Oh my God.
That's what I remember.
That's how I remember it.
I said...
Because you were like, yeah, Eddy, I'm from the country as well, because he's Dubbo.
Yeah, okay. It's a hatchet job.
Who's telling the truth?
Yeah. Leave it in the comments.
We all know we know what's going to happen. It's just going to get trolled like, oh, you're a fucking coastal boy. Exactly the same thing that happened with the Olympics. You hate your country.
But you do.
You hate your
You
country.
come good in the end, but you
Yeah.
Oh, fuck
fucking
you.
hell, you need to key up the arse.
Okay, but who do you think will... The Firehawks, the Dolphins, Jets, who do you think is the best to go for, considering all things?
The Firehawks seem like financially they've got it all sorted out, but without it entirely knowing sort of the allegiances in Brisbane, I do think it's a better idea to have a team that has supporters already. So like the Dolphins.
I think Redcliffe Dolphins are pretty financially good.
The Dolphins out of the three are the most financially
Don't
strong.
they have 100 million or some shit?
They have 100 million in assets with a leagues club that turns over 35 million annually, and the leagues club has 40,000 members.
Dolphins.
I always thought because this these expansions teams have been thrown around for years.
Yeah.
I always like the idea of going with a club that's already in the Queensland Cup and has like an established fan base. And like you say, it's out of Brisbane. It's not like, fucking putting one right next door. I think that to have good success, it need to differentiate a little bit. Instead of being like Brisbane 2.0.
Yeah, I agree. I like the Firehawks. All jokes aside, the Firehawks, it's great that they've got that cash, but like Redcliffe Dolphins already have their field, their own field. It's like
which I like.
It's like a suburban ground.
That's nice.
We like that.
We're
going back to the suburbs.
Yeah, it's like a Leichhardt, really, like to an extent.
Perfect.
It's not. Is it as big? You reckon? Probably a little bit smaller, but they may have made adjustments.
If you can jam 20,000 in there,
I reckon
perfect.
you could probably get 15,000 there. Again, do your own research. It has been upgraded over the last few years since I've been there.
If it's 10,000 plus 15,000 standing spots where the league's club is.
You're looking at what, 25K?
Sorry, I was wrong. 1,500. I misspoke. 10,000 seats and 1,500 standing spots.
Look, it'd be better if they could get that closer to 15.
Yeah,
I'm sure they can.
They probably could. If they went ahead, they'd probably build a stadium. Like that.
Exactly. That adds some shit to it. Also, as a name, like the Firehawks have a cool story behind the name, but the Jets is kind of lame just because it's like the Jets. Dolphins.
Is lame. Sorry.
I like Dolphins.
The Jets is because of Ipswich Jets, I'm pretty sure.
But
and Ipswich Jets is also interesting because they're inland. I don't know whether that qualifies as country, but they are quite inland from Brisbane.
Like 20 minutes?
It's about 45 minutes.
Also, I was just going to say, the Dolphins are planning to play most of their games at Suncorp.
Are they really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't like that. I know they're doing it because of the facilities and the parking, and they probably get a deal with Suncorp. But I think you got I like the suburban, get the feel.
Yeah, they're saying they'll play some games at Sunshine Coast plus the other one, but it says right here on the article.
So Redcliffe is Sunshine Coast.
No, it's like 40 minutes north of Brisbane.
How far? About 45. Coast? Is it close to the Sunshine Coast?
Not
I'm
close.
pro Sunshine Coast.
It's not close.
The Redcliffe Stadium is where they've been playing a few games. I think it's called.
They've already played there this year.
Okay,
I think Sharks recently played there. Toby Rudolph. Yeah.
They've played about 5 games in the last.
So it can clearly. So I'm surprised that they clearly have a deal with the government with the Suncorp. Whether they get some kind of because.
Well, isn't that like when you see teams like the Rabbitohs and shit where they're playing at Suncorp and it's like they've got a guaranteed amount of money to play at Suncorp irrespective of how many fans turn up?
I heard it was...
It's like $100,000 or something.
They get... I heard... This could be fucking complete bullshit, but I heard they basically get a full house every week of what it was at the suburban ground, guaranteed.
Just for you two, that Manly are playing at the Redcliffe Stadium this week.
Interesting.
So you get a feel for it. It's good.
Okay. Well, I'll be keeping a close eye on it then.
Yeah. Extra close eye.
I just feel like you're going to build more loyalty and feel for a new club if you do it at the suburban
Especially
ground.
if you're starting off.
Yeah.
Like what, you're going to get 40,000 every week at Suncorp? No, you're not, mate.
But
not
also,
in your first season.
everyone that goes to Suncorp it's going to feel like it's not going to feel like a home game. It's going to feel like a Broncos game or an Origin game. Whereas you go to Redcliffe, like the memories that you create with your family, like that feel that you need. Like that's the key to build supporters is that nostalgic memory of like on the hill or
the authentic experience of what your club is about.
Absolutely.
That's rugby league.
That is rugby league.
Peter knows that. That's why he's trying to go back to suburbia.
Yeah. And I like Dolphins as a name.
Like the AFL model, which is the, use big stadiums in cities. That's not a model for rugby league.
Nah.
Got to go to the suburbs. Got to use a suburban stadium.
Well, NFL's a much better game to watch live because it's so big. For a lack of a better word, it's a 3D game. Like you need to see, where the player is away from the ball. Whereas rugby league, you only really need to see that much at all times.
Yeah.
And so that's why AFL.
So it's all vibe, character.
Yeah, exactly. All vibe and character. There's a lot of vibe and character at Redcliffe. So. Jets would also be interesting. I don't think they're financially in that as strong a spot. They're probably the third most out of the lot.
Yeah, they didn't specify how financially.
Yeah,
which says
means they're
Jets are like, well, don't worry, man. We swear we're good for it.
But the good thing,
Sorry,
Ipswich is a strong area for rugby league. Like it's basically, it's a really strong area of rugby league where I think Alfie come from there. And, the Walters brothers, I think also. Dior that. Please don't hold me to that. But. Yeah.
So the 17th team is 100% happening.
I think so. Like making, fuck. Like, but basically the article that I read was like, Landis wants to make the decision now. Like whether they are or they aren't, happen now rather than keep kicking the can down
Just
the road.
confirming, Alfie Langer and the Walters brothers came in from Ipswich.
From Ipswich,
Yeah. Well, they're the club.
and from the club as well.
Yeah.
I reckon get them in. Like
Not Jets, not Ipswich.
No, I'm just saying get in another side.
Yeah.
The Redcliffe Dolphins, I'm in Team Dolphin.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'm
Because, like, if you can't get a second team going in Queensland or in Brisbane specifically, then where are we?
Oh, we're fucked.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're fucked if you can't get that going.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Like, if there's one place where it's going to also, like, learn a lot of the lessons, be the guinea pig for some, you know what I mean? Because it's a new age. Like, we could learn some lessons from past clubs in Western Australia, blah, blah. But I think with the new age, you're going to be looking closely at how this fares to take those lessons to when we do go that other team, the 18th team, to use that model. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I reckon the other place that would be interesting to take it, the 18th side would be like a second team in New Zealand, maybe.
North Island.
Yeah,
Wait, are we
South
north or
Island.
south?
South
South Island.
Island.
Sorry. Got my islands mixed up.
I'm not sure if we had the participation there, and also they struggle quite a bit.
Just on participation, just one plus for Ipswich. Brisbane has 11,000 registered players, while the Western Corridor, where Ipswich is, has 16,000. So
It's a massive footy heartland, but they just don't have the same money. But Redcliffe, like I just think Redcliffe has a massive base. They've been around forever. Like Redcliffe, when I was coming through playing for Broncos reserve grade, which was called the Clydesdales then, Redcliffe Dolphin would challenge us without any NRL players. So like as a Q Cup team, they're probably the best Q Cup team that's been without. Now they are affiliated with NRL clubs, but when I was coming through, they weren't.
Right.
Yeah, so I think Redcliffe Dolphins are probably the best option. But I don't like the playing at Suncorp. You're not going to build any realness with it.
I think you'd have to do some, right? But I certainly wouldn't be doing all your games at Suncorp. That seems crazy.
I wouldn't even be doing 50% there.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I would be doing as little as I would be trying to get as many games at Redcliffe as possible, so that when like young kids and that, when they come there, it's like an experience for them, like something different and unique. Whereas they go to Brisbane, they're not going to connect it to the team that they're
Ultimately,
supporting.
it's just purely a financial decision, though, right? Like it's just about making money. So
But
it's
when
like
they've
whatever
got that
makes the
much
most
cash,
money.
I'm like, is it worth it in the long run? You know what I mean? Is it worth it?
Yeah,
in the
probably
long run?
not.
I don't know. Yeah, 100 million funds, 80 million. Fucking Jesus, so much money.
That's nice.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah,
Now,
the Dolphins.
obviously, if the team is approved, is Wayne Bennett just the absolute out and out clear guy?
I tell you what, it'll be because all I've been thinking about with that expansion stuff is when Wayne Bennett said there isn't enough. It's not a lack of
a
coach. Players. It's a lack of coaches. So if he could go up there with a new team and rip and tear,
Oh,
that would
right.
just be the cherry on top of his career.
Yeah.
And he's basically him saying, "Bruh,
I'm the goat.
I'm the fucking
On the
greatest."
go. Sit down, Craig.
If he can go up there with a new team and go, "Yep, look what I've done."
Even finals footy. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Even if they
No,
play
but
finals
if he
footy.
goes up there and has success, it'll be a massive flex. Massive
bro,
flex.
One of the biggest flexes you can flex.
You almost need
To
to
be like,
have
oh, okay, you like, sorry, Parramatta, but trying to win a comp for 30 years. How about I do it in 12 months?
Yeah.
I just know Parramatta fans are just like, I'm sick of us being the fucking.
But they've had the longest streak. It's not
It
my
is what
fault.
it is.
I feel
Numbers are
sorry for
numbers.
him.
What do you want me to
Sorry,
do
bro.
about that?
Can't help it.
Can't rewrite history.
I feel sorry for him.
Sun's dying.
Yeah, okay. So now on to Shane.
Who would you be your first player?
Munster, 100%.
Yeah?
100%. He would be the marquee guy because you get Munster, you can get anyone, and he would because I think he does want to live in Queensland. The hard thing is that he's a rogue. He'll always be a rogue. So keeping him out of trouble in Queensland would
Wayne
be
could
tough.
potentially do that. If anyone can do it, could Wayne?
Yeah,
Or is
if
it like if you're like the king of Queensland as a player, isn't everyone sort of like, don't worry, bro, we'll get rid of that?
Well, there's
bloody-"
so many dogs nowadays. Back back in the day, there was a semblance of don't be a dog. Like, think about when you used to have a phone and like when I was growing up, if anyone ever filmed anything bad happening, you'd be like, put your phone away, you dog. Whereas it's so normalised now to just straight away.
As soon as
film
there's
something.
chaos, people are filming it before helping.
Whereas when we were growing up, you could get punched for that. Like literally, if you pulled your phone out, something bad's happened, there would be a fight nearly. And so I just think that it doesn't matter that if you're loved in Queensland, there's so many people that
Don't give a fuck.
Don't give a fuck. They just want to be a dog. Like they just want to dob people in. So the hardest thing would be keeping a rogue like Munster on the rails. If you can, you can fucking do anything.
Munster.
Munster let loose as a star player in Queensland.
Yep.
It's a recipe for something great.
It'd be tough to get him out of Melbourne, even though he wants to live in Queensland. I guess if it's a new team,
Well,
it might not be that.
They would be able to offer it.
Fuckloads more money.
Well, not even fuckloads more, but at least as much. Do you know what I mean? At least as much.
He'd be on good coin now.
Yeah,
He'd be on good coin, but don't you reckon it'd be down because the Storm will
800 or
sort of
900K,
like,
I reckon.
Whereas he'd be $1 million
Easy.
in a second.
Be like a 1.2
for new
or
team.
something.
Yeah.
1-2.
Yeah.
1-3.
And then with third party, you can be making anything, right? Is there a limit on what you can make third
I think
party?
there's a limit to that now. I think they added in a limit, but I could be wrong with that because the fuck thing about the third party is like some clubs, and I don't know if it's changed, but a few years ago, some clubs had way more third party than all other clubs.
Well, that's like the Roosters in Brisbane. If you're a one-town
can
team,
get so many more third party.
Oh, well, they could, and that's unfair. Like, it's like a second salary cap that isn't fucking monitored. It's like, how's that fair? Like, the teams are struggling. They're already struggling.
Jim's Windows in Canterbury Bankstown doesn't have the same fucking financials as, some humongous Brisbane company who's going to be able to pay millions of dollars.
So, I mean, I'm not sure if they've cleaned that up. I hope so, because I never really liked it because it's tough because you want the players to, if they can earn money outside, they should be able to earn money outside. I think it's more if the players can get it themselves, let them get it themselves.
As opposed to guaranteeing.
As opposed to a club going, here's your contract, plus we can guarantee you 250K with this sponsor here.
What are the rules with that? So, like, can a player's manager, Munster signs for a 900 with the Storm, no third parties, but a manager just completely separate from rugby league go and get him deals with whoever the fuck he wants?
I think this has changed. I think back in the day, it was like, it would only count it as a third party if the club got it for you.
Yeah.
So if you went out and got it yourself, it doesn't count. But I think that has changed because of all the dodgy shit that's happened over the years of clubs going, oh yeah, we didn't get it for you. We didn't get it for you.
So then you basically can't get any. You can't earn fucking anything.
I don't know
outside
that. Don't.
That
yeah,
gets
right.
so grey.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, what we could do though, you know what we could do is whilst we're talking about a topic that we're not sure about, you know what we could do?
What?
I'm going to keep saying, you know what we could do until the guy behind the computer gets the message. He could get on his little Googles and type in salary cap third parties and maybe get a bit of information.
He was scissoring himself down the back.
Literally at the back scissoring himself.
Working on his technique.
Just standing like this.
Always working. Got to respect it.
You do.
He was literally looking up categories of scissoring on
that's all it was. He was trawling the scissor aisle.
Okay, I forgive you. Look, scissoring can fucking really has taken off the scissoring. I tell you what. Jesus, the amount of messages I get about scissoring are...
Dude, scissoring's in vogue right now, dude. Everyone's scissoring. If you're not scissoring, you're a fucking loser, basically.
Mate, scissoring's almost the new kissing.
Yeah. It's the new second base.
Yeah, I think so. A good scissor. Did you
kiss,
scissor on the weekend?
Scissor, then it's,
like
the conventional.
Yeah, like did you hook up with instead of saying that, you say, did you scissor?
Did you guys scissor?
Yeah, I had a good scissor. But anyway, not sure about the finer details of the third party.
I'll just say it's very vague on the operations website.
Yep.
It's 2 paragraphs. You want me to read it out? Yep. Third-party agreements are payments made by companies directly to players. There's no restriction on the amount a player can earn through third-party agreements when he's being paid for his own intellectual property without the need to employ club logos or names, and where the company involved is neither a club sponsor nor are they acting on behalf of a club to secure the player's services.
Okay, so it's what I said it was. If the club isn't involved and you're using your own, like for example, if I'm in a Broncos jersey, they own that. Even if it's my face, they own that.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm in nothing to do with rugby league, they have no right to
like
tell me.
Like the cheese doing budgie smuggler shit.
Absolutely. They have no right to tell me that I can't do that because it's my own personal likeness that I own. The only problem is that some clubs, if they, let's say their sponsor is a competing sponsor and you go and do something with something else, even though they're legally, they aren't supposed to say you're not allowed to do that, they'll still say, come on, bro, like they're a sponsor of the club and like you're out there taking photos, blah, blah, blah. Usually usually the clubs are pretty good. Like sometimes I can understand where the clubs are coming from because you don't want to piss a sponsor off.
No.
But at the same time, there's hundreds of thousands of dollars being left on the table constantly by players that they should be able to get. Like you shouldn't be able to stop someone from using their own likeness. Or there should be able to, a deal be struck where it's like, well, if you don't want him to go do that deal with that person, why don't you offer something similar and he can do it for you?
Yeah.
But the club in the NRL hold a lot of power with that kind of stuff because you don't want to piss off your employer.
No.
So even though it's not right, they can still just... It's like any employer. A lot of employers do stuff they shouldn't do and you just shut your mouth because Like, he's naked right now, chained to a bench.
Yeah.
And, like, he didn't say nothing. You can't. He's got a mic in front of him. He's not saying
Well,
anything.
like, don't even let him make eye contact with us when we come in. It's the rule.
Anyway, so on to the next talking points. Moses Suli guaranteed to leave Manly ASAP.
That is not fucking true.
That's incorrect.
That's incorrect.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Dragons chasing Moses.
Who aren't the Dragons chasing? Who aren't they chasing? Let's be honest. And if Moses, who's a friend, has any fucking brains, he'll be going, oh, Hook's calling. Oh, fuck. Hook's calling. Nah, throw the phone in the river.
Block
it.
Just block
delete
the number.
Delete and block.
Just block Hook's number. Look, of course the Dragons are chasing a hot centre in Moses Suli because he's been playing the fucking
house down
recently with Brad out. And every time he gets a sniff of the Steeden, he rips and tears.
He's kind of in his career best form and he can't even make Manly's side.
Because so of course the Dragons are chasing someone of that calibre, Denon. I don't think that's surprising.
No.
But I would say to Moses, I would say this.
Have said this.
You're not going to win a comp at the Dragons.
No.
You might win one this year, but there are many more to win at Manly. Now, I would implore you to take unders, to work hard, to fight your way into the starting side, and enjoy your own decade of dominance.
Yeah.
With the Manly Seagulls.
Because, I mean, we've still got him for next year anyway, so that's good.
But he's been told to negotiate with other clubs.
Not for next year. I think they're just saying, like, after next year.
He's already, like, he's literally been told you can talk to someone else. If you
Listen.
weren't told, they're not saying, oh, you can go negotiate with someone else, but we're going to keep you next year.
We'll
They want
keep you.
gone.
Nah, well, Denon, look, I know that you're in rugby league, mate, but I'm hearing different things. I'm hearing they're just saying, look, stick around for one more year, but feel free to fucking, sow your wild
They're a
oats.
nice employer.
Yeah.
They're saying to him, listen, if you want to stay here and win rings, you can. But if you want to go and, talk to loser clubs, that's fine.
Sniff poo on your days off, then that's fine. But, yeah, look, I think
Have you
Moses...
heard there's been poo sniffing going on?
Well, I'm just saying that, like, if you're going to go
what's
sniffing
the
around the
difference?
Dragons...
I don't think that being at the Dragons is like sniffing poo, but clearly you guys believe
I'm
that
saying
is
it
the case.
stinks like poo at the Dragons because they're not going to win any comps.
It's a metaphor.
Yeah, it's a metaphor.
apologies,
Not
apologies.
literal shit, although it wouldn't surprise me.
Look, I think
No
that,
disrespect either. That was...
No.
that's,
Love the Dragons.
look, I agree with you guys in the sense that
smells like shit there.
no, not that bit. I agree with the Moses Suli of stay unless they are trying to release him because of salary cap pressure, and that's the reason why.
Take unders.
Well, they might be trying to release him from the contract in 2022 because they can't afford him. But if that's not the case and they're just saying, look, here's your offer, it's not anywhere near what you're worth, but here's your offer, I would say to Suli, like, at least stick around for the rest of this year and 2022 because you can fight your way into that side.
Oh, yeah.
And it's very funny how when you fight your way into first grade and play 10 good games, all of a sudden there's money in the cap. Now, the only issue is that if he does go on a red-hot run, he may be too good for them, too expensive for them to keep anyway because he is so destructive.
Yeah.
And that may be what Manly is saying to him, like, mate, like, you're the kind of player that can get 400-500K somewhere, so we're just never going to offer you that.
So do you think then there's an element of a club... Because obviously, we've spoken before about clubs being ruthless motherfuckers, but
also
like
be good
where
as
they
well.
can be good, where it's like, listen, dude, you're worth more than we can pay you.
100%.
So just go and fucking
100%.
rip and tear.
For
We'd
example-
advise against the Dragons, but do whatever you want.
Yeah. For example, they could say, it doesn't matter how good you are, we only pay X amount for our centres. Therefore, a player like Parker, who's a good, honest, true footy player, very honest, very true, very
Strongest
pure.
player in the comp.
Morgan Harper, very honest, very true, very pure, but maybe doesn't have the same oomph on their day as Suli.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can, keeping Parker and Parker and Harper is actually preferred even if they aren't as good on their day because it suits your salary cap more. Wayne Bennett used to have this thing where he would only pay his wingers minimum because the system that he kind of put together was, look, if I've got a sick finisher, that's great, but I just need a safe, good winger that if they're at the end of Hodjo or Kay or whoever or Lockie, they just need to be a good finisher and they don't need to be Manu Vatuvei.
Yeah.
I don't need to spend overs. And sometimes Like, it's changing a little bit when you see guys like Blake Ferguson that have massive impact on game.
To'o.
But a lot of coaches say, like, look, I can just pay. Why would I pay a centre $400K when I can get a good, strong, solid centre for $200K that is going to balance my team better, you know?
Could I ask a question? One of the obvious knocks on Manly this year has been when Tommy's not around, we struggle. And it seemed to me like against the Raiders on the weekend, we did struggle for periods, but what we lack when Tommy's not there is a fucking game breaker. And Suli was a game breaker in that game. Is there an argument to be made that, like, and I'm not saying for either Parker or Harper or anything, I fucking love those dudes, but just that, like, having someone like that who can make something happen from nothing, which he did on multiple occasions, that's what you need. If you, like, a lot of teams have more than one game-breaking player, and that's sort of something that Manly maybe lack.
Yeah, well, it's
In the
tough
backs?
because have we seen a season of this from Suli?
No.
So
We've seen
glimpses.
a couple of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong. He genuinely, and this is not an exaggeration, he has the talent to be the number one centre in the game. That's how incredibly athletic and strong and good footy player is. It's just a matter of, like, putting those games together. And it seems like he's really maturing. But are you willing to take the risk of fucking your whole salary cap up?
Yeah.
If he doesn't deliver that? That's why, like, a guy like Tommy, he's been putting in these crazy performances for quite a while now. Like, although this year has been incredible, even before this year, he had, like, the most line breaks, the most tries. You know what I mean? He's always been.
He's always
He's always been a thoroughbred.
So you're
100%.
going to look at him and be like, he's so effective in what he does at such a consistent basis. You're willing to throw the bank at him. Whereas a guy like Suli, he's a centre. He's not a fullback. He can't impact the game as much. So is it worth throwing your whole salary cap out for a guy in the centres? And he's never going to be a fullback. He's never going to be a half, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and surely Manly's salary cap is under pressure.
Well, because they've managed it
That was
so
all I
well.
was saying. at the
Between
start of the year.
DC and Jake and Tom.
But then they've managed to re-sign a bunch of people this year
That's
as
a
well,
big
right?
chunk, though.
Well,
Yeah.
Manly's cap is actually handled probably the best in the NRL right now because they have all of their 15 of their starting 17 is signed till 2023, which is incredible how they've done it. I don't know how they've done it, but they've done it. But that means that they clearly, like, their cap would be like, fuck, there'd be no wiggle room.
Yeah.
Like, that's why they're not you'd never hear them in the market. Like, have you ever heard Manly connected to anyone?
No.
And that's why he's gone out and got all battlers as well. He went out and got, Saab couldn't get a start. Garrick couldn't get a start. Foran they didn't want. Lawton, got released from Warriors. Harper, like all these, like Brad Parker's a battler. Like a lot of the team are battlers. So I just don't think that that regardless of how well Suli plays, I just don't think Manly have the money to keep him. Because the Dragons are probably going to offer him 300 or 400K, 400K probably, I reckon.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that Manly would probably say minimum.
Is it my memory, or did he struggle before Des brought him under his wing?
Yeah.
Did he lose a shitload of weight and Des had him in a
he was Tigers, and then he was kicked out of the Tigers for something, and then he went to the Bulldogs like 2 weeks and then got kicked out of there. Then came to Manly. I think it was Trent. He was under Trent's wing, and I think he had a lot of mates.
Remember those stories where he got him banned? Like,
Yeah, I think when Des first came in,
you want to go to Macca's, I'll drive your food around. Wasn't that Des?
Yeah. Eventually, once Des came, Des put him on some sort of diet plan where it was like, I'll drive you meals over or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I remember that story.
I think, and could you please search this, Matt? I think he had a lot of personal stuff happen in his life.
Yeah.
At around the teenager mark, so he really struggled with, like, he would be sleeping in his car when he rocked up, or he'd stay up late at night, and I don't think it was Trent that got him across. I'm pretty sure it was Desi.
That's
I could
my
be wrong.
recollection, but I could be wrong.
I could be wrong as well. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Whereas, he absolutely struggled with discipline, and when he was coming through, he was known as, like, this kid.
The
can
gun,
do
like the next big
fucking
Falau and all that sort of
anything.
shit.
Absolutely.
But mate, fuck, like on his day, he's a motherfucker.
He's a
so
motherfucker.
strong.
He's huge as well. Like, what are his dimensions? Is
he's
like,
a big boy,
he
6'2", fucking
huge.
Yeah.
He'd be how thick would his
thick,
chest be?
And
fast.
he's fast.
Yeah.
He's surprisingly fast.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I just think that I agree. I think that he should stay at Manly. I think that he should,
Win comps.
potentially win comps in the next couple of years, and then go and get your, like he could play good enough to push. Even though I think Harper is a top 3 centre right now, but he could play good enough. He's talented enough to push them out of a spot, or push one of them to the wing, or push him to the wing. and win a premiership and then go and get your big contract because the big contract will come.
He is still young.
But in saying that, he may have a family.
Yeah.
You know, so if he gets offered a 4-year deal, 400, 500K each year, you can't begrudge a bloke for taking that. There's no way. But he's been incredible. And I just, massive raps for him for getting his life back on track because there were articles like constantly, you know, talking about all the negative things that had happened. So I just, absolutely stoked for him that he's killing it. He's a handful. He's
Rugby
a
league
handful. Now, on to the Charnze Nicoll-Klokstad. Sorry if I said that wrong. Because it's not Klokstad anymore. It's
Klokstad.
Klokstad.
Klokstad?
He returns.
Yeah, I think so.
So happy for Charnze to return. He is, when you talk about one of the good guys, he's right there as one of the good guys.
Seems like a very nice young
Last
man.
year or the year before, it was like every week there was a new nice story that he did. Like Charnze saved a baby out of a tree, and then Charnze fucking drove someone 1,000 kilometers just to get them home, and then came back to training.
Charnze helped a kid cheat on his fucking school exams.
Yeah, did all that kind of shit. So one of the good guys comes back though, been out all year. First run drops the ball. Poor bloke, and I just want to. That's what
happens.
It happens,
Especially against Manly.
Yeah, it can happen, absolutely. Have you had any bad starts? It's like when it comes to nightmare scenarios.
Just in life.
In life?
I got knocked out off the kickoff of a game when I was in year 12. I was trying to tackle a guy and he shouldered me right in the chin. Knocked me clean out.
Did you wake up a few hours later or an hour later? Or
I actually kept playing. This was obviously pre-concussion days. And I don't remember it, but the physio started asking me whatever the concussion questions were. He's like, count backwards from 100 by sevens. And I went, bro, I don't know how the fuck I'm going to do that. And he was like, I couldn't do that even.
Would you be able to do it up?
That's what I mean. I was like, I couldn't do that anyway. And he's like, all right, play on. And then
That's the answer.
Yeah.
Well,
Because if you try, they're like, this bloke's lost it.
Then I did my knee 5 minutes later, and they were like, "That's probably had something to do with that. Let's just sweep it under the rug."
Do you reckon you could do the alphabet backwards?
No,
I'd
have to.
Apparently, that's a
they
concussion
do
one.
it.
I'm like, you've got to be joking.
I heard that
tough.
some of them intentionally, because you get asked. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Like
here, Dan,
lower
but
the line.
Yeah, they you do these tests before, so it's like these are the questions you'll get asked when you are concussed, and so they intentionally fuck it up. So then when
so what they do is you get a baseline. So at the start of the preseason or whatever, when you're fresh and you haven't been fucking knocked out or whatever, they do the test and they say, okay, this is your baseline. You have to be within 10% either side of it or whatever. Then the argument is some people choose to go, all right, well, I'll just put my fucking baseline real low so that if I do get concussed, I'll be able to pass it. But I'd be surprised, it's just dangerous to do that. I don't think...
People now knowing what they know, maybe not as...
I don't think it would be something that if a coach heard that or even a player, they would be like, mate, it's not
really
worth
not
it.
worth
It's
it,
not
yeah.
worth it.
Yeah, and we know too much now to be fucking lying
it
on your
is
concussion
crazy.
test so that you can
But it is crazy to
play
see
with
how much now players react when an opposition player or any player is concussed.
Yeah.
Because it used to just be like, well, whatever.
get
But
over yourself, cunt.
Yeah.
Someone,
Yeah,
I think it was
literally,
in the South. Did someone get fucking KO'd in the South Panthers game? Dylan Edwards maybe, and
Immediately.
just every player around him, all the South boys around him. You're like, holy shit! It's actually very nice to see, but it's also just crazy where it's got to now and in such a short space of time.
It's just it's just crazy when you look back. It's that we used to be like, oh fuck, get up, you're soft. You're so
Yeah,
There
get
would be
up.
dudes fuck.
Richie Foso packing into a scrum once where he was chicken dancing all the way up to the scrum the whole way, and I'm like, get fucked, and then he just packs in and keeps playing. I'm like, he was a tough motherfucker, Richie Foso.
Mate, it's just the wild shit.
You just needed a reset. Get me to the scrum, I'll be fine.
Sweet. But yeah, Charnze Nicoll-Klokstad. So I just wanted to say, stoked for him to be back. I thought, apart from obviously the error initially, he was good. He just brings so much energy to that side. I think that he's going to help them quite a bit.
Vibrant footballer.
He's a vibrant footballer. Now, just quickly, Curtis Scott has been contract terminated. Which due to the fact that he had a fight in public, it was on camera. So his contract has been terminated. But Curtis Scott has come out and basically, so he came out and talked about his demons. Me and Finchy spoke about it. And what's funny is that, so Finchy was like, I can't believe that, it's called Alcohol Anonymous. Why would the newspaper say that? And I kind of said, oh, well, even if the player came out and did it. So it did turn out that Curtis Scott had come out and he wanted to share his story. But what was funny is
we bagged him, so apologies. Not him, the newspaper.
Oh, really? So, but what's funny though is when Finchy said that, I said, like, even if the player does come out, it's about how they handle. It's about how they handle the whole of it. You know, of course they're going to be nice when he speaks to them because they get that story. They get this huge story that everyone reads about him. Then it's how do they handle it the next day and the day after that, knowing that he's just said all of this really personal shit. Anyway, the next day, what do you know? The same paper that was, that Curtis Scott like spilled his guts to about Alcohol Anonymous was basically bringing up a fight that happened over a year ago with Bateman that was the issue that wasn't even an issue.
No.
And so Curtis Scott has come out, and that's what we're talking about with Finchy. I was like, it's how they handle it, and what do you know? They've used it again. Like, this guy is already clearly struggling. You didn't need to write it, but you've got that information from someone at the Raiders, knowing it's going to paint Curtis Scott in a bad light. The day after, he's told you that I'm struggling with suicidal thoughts and that.
It's so fucking ridiculous how, and say whatever you want about Curtis Scott, and he's got some form with scallywag behaviour. But the Raiders have to be the most unprofessional club at handling player dramas in the NRL. Like, for the second time this year, they've had their own players coming out and backing a player that's just been sacked. Like, on Instagram today, White and fucking Hodgson, all these people are going like,
good bloke,
all this shit, you'll come back, all this sort of stuff. But the club keeps leaking shit about their players. How the fuck if you are a player who doesn't need to go to a club out of necessity, isn't like, fuck, I'll take any deal. If you're like a decent player, why the fuck would you go to Canberra knowing that this is how they treat their players?
Well, to what end? I can't work out why any of this is necessary.
That's what I was going to say. Like,
because then you get blowback from all your players who were like, your own players supporting a teammate of theirs being like, this is fucking ridiculous. Yeah, it's leaking these old stories
from over a year ago, a fight with a player that's not even at the club anymore. And I agree with you. It's like,
I don't understand why the fuck that is necessary.
I totally agree, because I am fully empathetic of Curtis Scott and the struggle he's going through. Like, I really hope he gets through this. I've messaged him personally in the past, letting him know I hope he gets through it. But I don't think any reasonable person begrudges the Raiders from going, tearing his contract up. Like, it's a reasonable decision. Curtis Scott has stuffed up a few times. So that's why I agree with you. Like, they didn't need to throw him under the bus again, because I don't think anyone in the public was sitting there going, I can't believe the Raiders fired Curtis Scott.
People don't care that much. It's like, you need to read the room a little bit better. No one's sitting back going, Jesus Christ, how dare the Raiders get rid of Curtis Scott? It's like, mate, people get fired from their job for
tiny things.
Like all over the world, just not necessarily rugby league, but even if you want to look at rugby league specifically, players get let go all the time. This isn't 100%. Like groundbreaking news.
No, and he's also come out though and been like, I've got an alcohol problem. So you're like, okay, well, there's clearly shit going on with Curtis then. He's getting in punch-ons. He's acknowledging he's got, some fucking issuhes.
He's talking about suicidal. Like he's literally talking about, that being in the darkest place ever, and he thought about and apologies if he didn't actually say the word suicide, but he said he was in the darkest place he's ever been. Can you please get the article up, Matt? But yeah, I agree with you. Like, I don't think anyone was sitting there saying, I can't believe they fired him. I think everyone was kind of saying, in my opinion, I think it's good for him. He needs to get his own health sorted. I think it's good for him to get away from rugby league, sort his life out. There's been plenty of players that have been sacked and have come back. He's only 23 years old.
Yeah.
Get his life together.
That's young.
Yeah, he'll be back if he just...
At the Raiders then, if you're a player at the Raiders now, for the second time you've had to come out, and again, even the players I don't think would be like, fuck, why'd we sack Curtis? But like going, this club does not have any of our backs.
It's so surprising, because it's just like, even if the players disagreed with the sacking, they also understand this is footy. You know what I mean? Like, no one, whenever I was part of squads and something would happen and, some player would leave or whatever, like, you'd bitch and moan about it internally, but it wouldn't be something that you'd all understand this is footy. Like, this is footy. It's a professional environment.
Yeah. Is there an element, and I'm just playing like another sort of angle altogether, where there's like a rat at the club who's feeding all this information? Like, is that a thing sometimes?
No, I think it's
Ricky, isn't it?
Well, I don't know.
That's what's assumed.
But I'm saying, I think it's just
is
the higher
there the
ups.
possibility that
there is someone else?
There is someone else who's fucking...
I just think it's a PR move. Like, it's a management of like showing like this was good optics for us to fire in.
Well, you need to fire your PR company because all that this does is create more drama.
I just love
instead
the
of
idea
it just like fucking off.
Yeah, it would have been. It would
Does
have been.
this ever happen at the Roosters or at Melbourne?
Matt, what's the story?
I love the idea that Ricky Stewart just leaks everything. And I'm not saying it's necessarily true. It's all alleged.
We don't know it's Ricky Stewart. Let's be clear
No,
about
no,
that.
no. We don't know it's Ricky Stewart. That is what's alleged, that he has connections with people on fucking.
Well, that's not
shows.
that's not alleged. That's known.
Well, yeah, sure, but
it's alleged that he's leaking.
that he's the one leaking. But I do like the idea of. I find it funny, at least, just the idea that Ricky's got a secret and he just has to tell someone.
Well,
It's like burning him.
Yeah, he can't. You don't tell Ricky secrets basically because he will fucking tell.
Like
Kenzie.
what do you reckon? What do you reckon Ricky's saying? Is he like, nope, putting it in the vault?
Yeah, no, trust me.
I promise.
I swear to God, I won't say anything. And then the
Curtis,
second you leave the room,
your secret is safe with me, mate. Secret safe with me.
and then
It's
as
in the
soon as,
vault.
as soon as Curtis leaves the room, it's like Curtis just told me he wet the bed as an 8-year-old. He wore nappies till he was 8. Ricky,
Paul.
I told you that in confidence, bro. What the fuck?
Paul, Ricky.
You got anything for us today, bro? Yeah, Curtis got pissed about till he was 8.
Didn't hear from me though.
You didn't hear from me.
Oh, make sure you don't mention me in the article. Okay,
No.
cool.
He also, I want to know who won in the fight between him and Johnny Bateman. Why didn't we leak that bit, Ricky? Can you not leak results?
Leak results.
Don't just leak the fucking, the headline. Who won? What was it over?
Well, it's very clickbaity the way they leak.
Was it a training punch on?
You know what I mean?
But
Like,
was it at a function?
The Raiders leak headlines, which creates more questions than answers.
Yeah, I need details. I'm pro leak if it's details from the Raiders anyway.
Well, it's like if a mate of yours is like, mate, I got a yarn for you, and you go, what's it about? He tells you what it's about, and then you go, okay,
Yeah, now what is it?
get
Yeah.
on with it.
They
that's
said
it.
last night
And he
that,
goes, no, that's it.
the fight was at a function and Curtis Scott injured his hand and was out for a few
That's not enough.
It's more than
Injured his
what
hand.
I had.
He called the Raiders himself and said,
Yeah, he dobbed himself
This
in,
happened. He didn't even need to. But anyway, so yeah, yesterday.
That's like saying, Floyd Mayweather fought Canelo Alvarez, and
he won. Or not
no,
even that.
no,
he just
we
injured
didn't
his
get the
hand.
result. And then you go, hang on, who won? Can't say.
And so this is in the Daily Telegraph. The troubled 23-year-old centre has told the Sunday Telegraph that he even considered taking his own life. Such was the terrible state of his mental health. And then it talks about absolute rock bottom. So like that comes out, and then this gets leaked. It's like
Not even 24 hours later.
Not even like 24, 48 hours later, it's getting leaked about a fight that happened a year ago to make him look even worse. Like, how is that? It's just not appropriate. It's so unnecessary. And that's what we're talking about earlier in the week with Finchy. Is like, look at how it's been handled when everyone involved knows he's in a very vulnerable state right now. And yeah, just to be clear though, like I agree with the Raiders' stance. Like you couldn't like after everything. I understand he was innocent in the
straight A.
the straight A thing, but he was also blind, passed out.
Yeah.
In a park.
Which again, not that big of a deal by itself. But then you add on to it the fight, and then his history, at Melbourne, and then
It's uncommon behaviour.
Yeah, it's uncommon.
Like, it's not like, where'd you sleep last night in the park? Like, you don't just sort of...
No, you don't
Tom
just-
told me, they'd be like, what?
What'd you sleep in the park for? It's like, I was so blind, I actually just woke up in a tree root. You're like, okay.
Yeah, so like I actually think it's best for both parties that they part ways. Like obviously it sucks he loses his contract, he can't play footy, but I just think that it's a good opportunity for him to get everything together.
Yes.
Get away from the pressure,
What do you think next steps for
I think
Curtis?
I think 12 months off the game or even 6 months, he goes away, continues his program, continues seeing a therapist because there's clearly deeper issues, than footy. Goes, enjoys New South Wales or Q Cup side next year when hopefully everything opens up. He's 23. Like he's a good NRL player in my opinion. I think his main focus right now is my main, I'd consider him a friend. Like I just want him to be happy and healthy and then think about footy,
Yep.
Or even just playing Q Cup for a year.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, he'd only be 24,
Hey, pop up
25.
at fucking Redcliffe next year, rip and tear with Wayne.
Fucking oath, mate. Go back to basics, rip and tear.
Absolutely.
On the
20,
field.
mate, I'll tell you what, as a bloke who's now 30, 23 is young.
Young as
Yeah,
shit.
it's young as shit, dude.
And it's like he doesn't have to go through
Such a good age as well.
He doesn't have to fight his way through to NRL again. He's already proven he can. So like once he gets in the system, it's not like he has to slog 2 years of apprenticeship to get there again.
Yeah.
He'll basically be knocking on the door for a fair shot
He's
at the centre
qualified.
position. Yeah. So
Qualified league.
Yeah, he's qualified league.
Qualified league.
He's done his 4 years.
So yeah.
He's 4 years.
How do you flush a rat out at the Raiders? That's what I want to know. What do we need to like leak some bullshit?
Well, you got to leak bullshit.
You got to
That's
leak
the-
bullshit
that's-
and then
that's
see how it
always
comes
been-
around.
it's
I've
always
seen enough
been-
gangster movies like Scorsese films and shit.
Well, that's the only way I know how to flush a rat.
Yeah.
So like
Leak bullshit.
would you think like so you could say to one person, Ricky's got no oomph.
Yeah, Ricky's
and
an
like, see if that's
oomphless.
in the
yeah.
paper. Ricky
Yeah.
oomphless coach.
Although, but
No,
look,
yeah, exactly.
look, I mean, yes, but if you've got your suspicions, then maybe.
no, it's a different yarn for different people.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course.
Or Ricky
Okay.
has a lot of oomph.
Bespoke yarns.
bespoke yarns
Yeah, yeah.
for potential rats.
So like
So you'd be, yeah.
Ricky has oomph, and then you tell another rat, potential rat, allegedly, Ricky has a lot of oomph. And if the story, whichever story gets run,
Then you know who the rat is.
If you get King hit by Ricky, then it's
He's-
been delivered straight to him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Ricky, come here. I think I've lost my oomph. That story runs, bruh.
Yeah.
You're in big trouble.
Could you imagine? My sources, he's got buzzes on. My sources tell me that Curtis Scott has lost his oomph.
Lost his oomph.
Look, it's what I'm hearing, guys. It's what I'm hearing. And he keeps doing that with his.
Yeah. Kenzie, I've heard he's lost his oomph. Like, oh, shit.
Rat! We got ya.
We fucking got ya.
Yeah,
I-
you flush them.
I do think though that, and this is just like I guess on the grapevine, that like Ricky's really loyal if you're in his camp, and I think that once that you're not in his camp, he's loyal to the club. I get like not just Ricky, but the I think that organisation is very like if you're on board with the Raiders. I know what you're saying. I'm
But
just
I
getting from their
don't.
perspective.
They're not They don't equal each other. It's not like, well, I'm fucking loyal to the club, therefore I'm going to leak all this crap to the media. Like,
Yeah. Well, I think from their perspective, they're going, we don't want to look like we have sacked someone for just this one-off incidents. We want to really justify the sacking. From the brand
People have
of
seen the
Raiders.
footage.
Yeah. Mate, I'm with you. I'm just from there. Like, if I just want to give it a fair representation of what I assume the Raiders are thinking. They're thinking, we don't want fans to go, oh, you had one little punch on that was quite substantial, and then you just sack him after everything he went through last year. I think the Raiders are going to go, we need to, just thinking of Raiders, like from the Raiders' perspective, we need to make sure that the fans know that this isn't just this one chance we've given him. He also got enough. You know what I mean?
But how do you think the Raiders look now? Better or worse?
Oh, it wasn't a good call. Absolutely. Like, I'm just trying to give a fair representation of like, they're thinking Raiders first. They're thinking of like what they think is best.
Yeah, they're not
for
trying
the
to bury the bloke.
Yeah,
They've just got it wrong.
yeah, I agree. I think that I agree with you. Like reading the room of, I don't think there was any reasonable person that wasn't like, no, I understand that they got rid of him. Like you can't be fighting in nightclubs in this day and age. They were very loyal to you through the police thing. So yeah, the main thing is I just hope that that Curtis is all good, and I hope the person that he fought is all good. But yeah, it's going to be interesting going forward with the Raiders because they look like they're bringing it together a bit,
And then they just fucking, there's a rat, dude. We got to flush that rat.
I've got to say,
They've got to flush it right.
the amount of respect I've gotten for guys like Hodgson and Whiten through all of this that have like never dogged their mates, like even though they've been asked questions where the politically correct within their squad thing to say would be like, I back the board and I back the. They've been like, nah, he's a good. You know what I mean? They have stayed, especially Hodgson. He's been rock solid.
Yeah.
Even through the Williams thing, Hodgson come out and was like,
but also when he was like getting like the captaincy thing, and
Yep.
he had his own bullshit to
Yep.
deal with, and he's just stayed classy the whole way.
yeah, he stepped down from the captain
Yeah.
and continued putting in good
He's a
performances.
classy guy.
He's classy. And English,
He's all class.
He ain't no rat.
he's no.
No.
He ain't no rat. You can
no,
tell.
no, no.
You look. You can't always tell who a rat is. But you can tell who a rat isn't. He ain't no rat.
He ain't no rat. He's the classy kind of English. You've got, Johnny Bateman, he's a bit of a rat bag, but he's not
Not
a
a
rat.
rat.
A
Rat
rat
bag.
bag.
Yeah.
Rats aren't all created equally.
No, they're not.
Rat bags are great.
Well, there's a scale, the rat scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rat bags are just scallywag. Is the English scallywag?
Yeah,
almost.
that's true. Yeah,
That's right.
absolutely. Rat bag, English scallywag, whereas I actually think Hodgson's classy.
Yeah.
He's actually a classy kind of guy.
English
Classy
gentleman.
operator. He's a gentleman.
Yeah.
I can see him.
He's a rat in a
Or
top hat.
upper middle class.
Yeah. Well, it could be.
I can see him in a suit and
Yeah, like a waistcoat.
Yeah, I reckon he would know all
Tails, yeah.
those etiquette things of knowing what fork goes where. I reckon he would know that shit.
Well, you start from the outside in.
Come on, Titanic. If Titanic,
You seen Titanic, bro?
If Titanic taught us anything, it's from the
outside in.
Private school kids. See, I'm from the gutter.
Have you seen
You've
Titanic?
never seen Titanic?
Have
He
you
gets
seen
taken through
Titanic?
the whole fucking thing.
Have you seen Titanic?
We didn't have TVs growing up or power.
Okay.
In the country.
In the country, we had no power to it. We were living on a farm in the country.
Yeah, right. Well, that's going to be tough to see Titanic.
Just want to clarify, I never said I was from the country. I just asked the question, and you guys have moved the
You rocked
goalpost.
up in an Akubra, dude. You fucking did
To
say you're
clarify,
from the
you said
country.
it from the country. You weren't honest and said you were a coastie.
Yeah.
And I'd never been to where you're from, so I was
You also
thrown.
said you
So
hate the Olympics.
I just feel like I'm being
In your country.
I have no identity, and you guys are only driving home the fact that I'm alone in this world.
No, we're just saying
wouldn't
that if you
welcome me-
watch Titanic, you'd know that it goes outside in, and then if you were truthful,
Because
you'd
Jack
say,
Dawson, played by Leonardo DiCaprio,
Great
turns to Molly Brown
Yeah.
and says, "What do I do with all these?"
I can't
and she
believe you
said,
remember
"Just
that
go from the outside in."
He's obsessed
I'm
with
set.
I can't believe you remember that scene.
I
"Oh,
know
no, I know
that.
the scene. Definitely know the scene."
Of course, everyone knows that.
He
Matt,
looks
do you know
hot
the
as
scene?
shit. He looks hot as shit. It's a good film.
Do you know
Do
the
you
scene?
remember that scene?
Of course, you remember.
I'm going to come clean. I haven't watched Titanic.
Yeah, that's my dog. You're getting a raise, allegedly, but not actually.
You've never seen Titanic.
Never seen Titanic?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
fuck,
he's,
dude?
but
Have
he's too busy scissoring.
Yeah, well, they don't scissor on the fucking
you know
ship,
what? He
unfortunately.
had it on in the background, and he started scissoring before it started.
Dude, they root in that film. It's worth watching. It's not the only reason to watch, but I know there's no scissoring,
That's
so it may not be
disgusting.
interesting.
All men aren't like him. That's disgusting. I watched it for the plot.
You didn't even know the fucking
I
movie.
watched-
You
I
just
watched
said
it
you
for the
haven't
plot.
seen it.
No, I've seen it.
And
That
you don't
was a
remember the
joke.
outside in?
But I wasn't watching it
You
just
don't
for
remember
sex.
outside in?
I'm a classy man.
You don't remember outside in?
I was watching it for the story and the love affair. It
That's
was
what I
a
was there
beautiful
for. It
thing.
was a beautiful love story. And he learned how to use cutlery.
Disgusting.
He went from the outside in,
Are
and he looked like a gentleman.
we
And he
still
sold
talking
it.
about cutlery or?
Well, it's an undertone. It's a theme of the whole film.
He was a gentleman though in that car.
He was.
He was patient. He took his time.
Passionate.
He drew her
steamy.
naked, and then she allowed her to put her clothes back on.
Okay, question. The only thing I do remember, well, not the only thing, one of the main things is, do you think there was room on that fucking door? I think there was
Comfortably.
room.
Yeah, no, comfortably. There was room on the door.
Room on the door.
That was a two-man door.
It was a two-man door.
It was a two-man door at least.
That's like saying, "Is there any room for me in that double bed?" And then being like, "Nah."
Sorry. But you know what? It's got us talking. It's got us still talking to this day.
So do you reckon it
It's
was like
genius.
It's like the Inception ending where like the thing's still spinning, but you don't know whether it falls over or not.
No, it's genius from James.
So,
Genius.
so James Cameron, are you guys going to watch Avatar 20?
Avatar 2, and then
but
there are
they're making,
5.
like,
Yeah,
fucking
we will be
full
watching. Oh, I'll be watching it.
Oh, look, why wouldn't you?
Now on to the great Kevy Walters. He's come out and said Broncos will be looking for a senior forward. Who should they target? All jokes aside,
Broncos, sorry, was it? I just missed what you were saying there.
Broncos are targeting a senior forward.
It's a good question. I mean, someone like a David Clemmer potentially, who is he coming off the bench for the Knights a lot of the time? Clemmer.
He seems like he's on the out of there.
Yeah,
a
it
little
seems
bit.
a
But
little
he played
bit-
really good on the weekend. Actually,
Well, he's still got it. Like, he's someone who had like a real hot streak, and then I don't know whether it's the Knights or what, but it's not petered out. Obviously, he's still got what it takes. He's still a good player, and if you're looking for a senior forward who you're probably not going to have to pay a shitload of money for, Clemmer seems like a good go, and he's got some serious mongrel about him.
I'll get the list up for you. Forwards that are off contract: John Asiata, Ben Teo, but he is obviously part of the club. Dean Britt, Dylan Napa, Ogden,
Napa.
Romanus, Smith, Tawamunga, Louis, Soliola, Magulius, Tolman, Woods, Farmer, Peachy, Boyle, Gosowski,
Gajewski.
Sorry, boys. Fuck, Gosowski. Fuck.
In fairness to you, that is a
That is a
difficult
tough
name.
one. Actually, you know what?
Shout
I wanna
out to
say-
Jack Gajewski.
You know who I do want to shout out is an absolute fucking legend, Davey_VA on Instagram. I actually was having a rough, like a lot of people message the page. So like I always try and stay in communication. I think I spoke about this yesterday. I always try to talk to everyone because I want to just like show them time and respect. But sometimes it gets overwhelming. You get so many people messaging and everyone wants something different. Blah blah blah. And I was like getting it was weighing me down a little bit. I was like fuck, because there was a few like just shit messages, and I was like oh fuck. But then the great Davey messaged me. Explaining the Māori language and how to like pronounce like different names. So I just wanted to give a shout out to Davey because he fully broke it down. He even like you won't be able to see it on the page, but he even like said how to do the vowels.
Oh, really?
So shout out to Davey, helping me with names because I'm fucking terrible at names. Because it was Timoko, Matthew Timoko. I was saying like something. I was saying it incorrectly.
Well, you were like with a big drawl on it. Yeah. That's helpful.
That's so
I could do with that.
I
We all could.
Because like, for example, I is pronounced E.
Okay.
E is pronounced E.
Okay.
A is pronounced A. U is pronounced U. O is pronounced O. A is pronounced R. So that's like, so for example, Timoko, which is Timoko, is T-Moko.
Okay.
Because it's the TI is actually T, not T.
Yeah. Okay.
So shout out to that legend, and to all my Māori listeners, I will try as hard as I can to get the names right. Tapene took me fucking forever, but I got it.
It's never intentional.
But yeah, that honestly, it made my day because I was like fucking so feeling negative from just like all these negative messages, like
Dumb dribblers.
That's a positive one. That's a ripper.
yeah, and there's a ripper, and I was like, fuck, what a legend. What a fucking legend.
You should be sending him like heaps and heaps of free shit, I reckon.
Yeah.
bloody oath.
Like cases and
Cases and cases of beer
Oh, man,
and all the merch and
absolutely.
everything.
Mate,
Fucking
you let
just
me
load it
know. You know what we'll do? We'll take it out of your allotment.
Well, we never lose, so that's fine. Yeah, you can. Happy to do it. Happy to do it. Look, we get 150 cases a month, so we're happy to give him.
We get more than we can drink.
Yeah.
We've been selling it.
Could you imagine I'm driving down the road and you guys on the side of the road?
Big fucking sign spinning it around.
Yeah,
$10 cases of Bloke.
Oh, you know what? We should do a pop-up shop like that. That'd be fucking funny. Sell merch and shit there.
Yeah, so we were saying.
Kevin Walters,
senior
people to target. I think Clemmer would be perfect if they can get him on a good deal. The only problem is he's probably demanding quite a substantial amount because he still puts up the numbers.
But do you reckon, like, if you're coming off the bench for the Knights, can you ask for a big deal?
Well, I think he's still got a year to go on his contract.
So they'd have to be
2023?
2023.
So fuck,
right.
he can
So they'd
demand.
have to be right. What about Napa then?
But
Again, he's a bench. He's playing coming off the bench.
I think he's come off the bench. But I think what they could do with Clemmer is, Knights pay 200K, Broncos pay 400K. That's 600K.
Yeah.
I'd be willing to sign.
That's good coin.
That's good coin. 600K. You're at the back end of your career, 3-year deal, something along those lines.
How old is he now? Is he really at the back end of his career?
Oh, he's about 20, about 30, I'd say.
It's just funny how just time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember him coming
he was
through,
young,
the skinhead, fucking
Remember him just getting in the
psycho.
face of Corey Parker.
Clemmer's only 27.
27?
But he'll be 28 for the next season.
Still, he's got fucking, he's got
plenty.
time.
Okay,
he's
I'll
got
take
time.
that back.
Fuck,
Plenty.
he was young when he came on as that young enforcer.
Just that bald, aggressive, scary looking
Skinhead,
motherfucker.
He looked like a
fucking
He looked
punching on.
scary.
Yeah.
He looked scary.
He
Yeah,
was.
he took it to Corey Parker.
Yeah.
That was good stuff.
In a time where you guys were really struggling to like match it with our forwards, he was like that breath of fresh air. Because
Yeah.
didn't you just win like the next year or?
That was back when we won. The
214?
like our only
that was
hand, the only hand we had to
2015.
play was
That's 2015.
That was 2015 game 2. Blues won the game, but then
Okay.
Queensland put 50 on New South Wales the next
Yeah,
game.
right.
Okay.
But that's how we won games back then, was just toughness.
Yeah.
Now we win because we're heaps better than you.
But yeah, I think if Clemmer is on the outer or per se, and it seems like the Saifidi brothers is the direction they're going, I think he would be like perfect at the Broncos. Could you imagine a forward rotation, him and Haas starting, and then you bring on Paddy Carrigan, or you put Paddy Carrigan at 13, or even
Is Carrigan out for the season at the
yeah,
moment?
he did his knee.
well, he
Man, I
does
can't wait for him to get back. He's one of my favourite players, Carrigan.
Has Haas been signed?
No, but he's he's till 2024, so he's got plenty of time.
And so if he gets signed to a 10-year deal, Haas, that'll be like, they'll basically go, so let's say he's got, so till 2024, you say?
I would
well,
say-
his next 3 years or the first 3 years of that contract being like...
I reckon Haas would say, no, I want an upgrade now.
Yeah, right,
If I'm
that's
going
what
to
I'm trying
sign
to
this, I want this. So it would
To
count.
start next year or
Yeah,
whatever.
it would count. It would start counting from the next year. But if I'm Haas, I wouldn't, I wouldn't do it. Like he literally can be worth anything. There might be a point where a club goes, I'll pay you 1.5 million. Like, I know that sounds fucking mental. And I personally, because he's a front rower, I wouldn't do that not because he's not worth it by himself, but in the grand scheme of things, I think you only pay your halves and maybe your fullback that.
He could play in the fucking centres.
Mate, he's the stuff he does, it's fucking amazing.
Surely Haas Avocado looking to do something.
I don't know why they haven't already been in his ear and just been like, listen, man, you got
You want to move avocados.
You give him to Payne Haas.
Imagine that big cutout of Harsey fucking juggling avocados when
bro.
you're in the bloody
would
the
be-
grocer. They'd fly off the
Yeah,
shelf.
they would. They already fly. But I mean, if you want to partner two elite, like Haas Avocados, elite, Payne Haas, elite.
I think that like a lot
It's
of
a
these big,
no-brainer. You want to talk about third-party deals.
Well, that's what I get. Like
It's
a
a
lot of these,
shortfall from the
a lot of these
gods.
big companies, they have the money to do it. If I was a huge company, I'd be fucking.
I'm
paying
telling
all
you right
athletes.
now, you could not miss with that. You could not miss.
No.
If he was on billboards with like covered head to toe, like in a bath of Haas
Yeah.
avocados.
Well, I can
You're
already
not
see
going to go out and buy them?
passing one
And
like
there's
a footy.
It's like, okay, because there's always two types of avocados generally. There's the Haas, which are the ones I remember, and then the other beta ones.
which are always hard as a rock.
Yeah.
You use them to break into buildings
fucking
and
eating
shit.
them when I've got...
And he could say, if you want to eat alpha, these are the alpha Haas,
Yeah.
not the fucking beta
You
ones.
want to
over
get
there.
as big as me and as
Yeah.
strong as me and as thick as me? Die to these bad boys.
And I don't even eat avocado, but if I see Haas with
don't?
one, no.
You'd
I don't
eat one though,
I'd
wouldn't
eat
you?
one if he, 100%. I'd
Do you
fucking
not
buy the
like
syrup.
avocado?
No, I don't like the texture and the taste. It's fucking
You don't like
weird.
it on a bit of toast
No.
with...
Bit of goat's cheese.
No. Honestly, I just don't
feta,
like
ooh,
it.
goat's cheese,
I'm
I
a
like
very
that.
simple eater. Very simple.
Plenty of lemon.
What's your
Salt,
favorite? What
pepper.
do you eat? Just
Like for example, all I've eaten today is 4 pieces of toast with butter on it. Like, very
right, but
simple
like,
order.
what's your favorite food then? Is it like something weird?
Cheese
like-
pizza. So like, I only eat cheese pizza. That's it. Don't have anything else on it. Very plain.
Really, you're
Yeah.
a Dave Portnoy operator.
I mean, yeah. Thanks for the compliment. Appreciate it.
That's not. Yeah, that was not in any way. So I fucking love Dave Portnoy. Really, so you used to cheese pizza. That is, I had a prawn pizza
Margarita.
last night. That's all you have, margarita.
No, that's what... Like,
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
no,
very simple.
I...
I'm a little fucking scallywag.
I'm a
when it comes to
missionary of food. Like,
Yeah, you
And
are.
you know what? I also
That's
think
fine.
I think missionary is one of the most underrated, underappreciated, and disrespected moves in and out of the bedroom there is.
Well, I would say this about missionary. If you were to break down statistics, Denon, I think it would come out as the ruler. Like, it would be used the most.
Well, no, of course. I think that's the understanding.
But there you go.
But it's like, okay,
I'd say it's. I mean,
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, but I have a theory.
But why is that?
because it works.
Because it fucking gets the job done.
Sure,
Absolutely.
yeah, but it's meat and potatoes.
No.
Set your watch to it.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
that's
like,
the thing. You're saying that, but this is my theory, and it's called the vanilla ice cream theory. Vanilla ice cream is just as tasty as strawberry and chocolate, but because it's plain coloured, it's associated with plainness. And
No, but I would
therefore-
say, why is it...
We'll let
why-
him finish his
Sorry.
fucking theory.
and it's-
I'm helping back it up.
Yeah, but he
yeah.
has,
I think you've got one foot in the door. I want to get the second foot in.
Yeah.
And so it's similar to, because everyone does missionary, it's considered boring, but it's actually it can be considered the most non-boring, because not only does it get the job done, I actually think it's the best, one of the best at least, there is.
Look, I'm not knocking it specifically, but it's very Ben Icon's shirts.
But see, you're conflating with boringness, just like the vanilla ice cream theory, because it's not coloured and all weird positions.
But if you do something a lot, then you are going to want a different flavour of ice cream.
What's the most popular flavour of ice cream?
boom,
Probably is vanilla.
hope it is,
Why is that?
because it's actually the best.
Because it would actually be technically the best.
Maybe, but I mean,
You're associating.
Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, if it wasn't the best,
Yeah.
why does everyone eat it?
Exactly. You're associating
ya.
a lot with ordinary, but a lot actually means the best. But
Sometimes
you're
it
associating,
does.
because a lot of people do it, it's ordinary.
but also maybe some people aren't adventurous enough to try some other shit,
so
which
what are
can
you,
be
some
pretty
kind
good.
of Kama Sutra operator?
Well, I'm not talking ice cream here. We're talking vanilla ice creams.
No, well, so vanilla ice cream, the only reason it's considered, like whenever something boring happens, oh, that's so vanilla. But if that was coloured, like if you put dye through that and it had the same taste, people were like, oh, this is like fucking rainbow, but it's vanilla.
Potentially. But I'm just saying, the reason that everyone, like, because it's the most people do it, doesn't mean it's the best. It means that
Wouldn't it
the
be
most people do
technically,
it.
if the most people eat vanilla, it's the best?
And that is true. It
is
is the most
true?
popular ice
Yeah,
cream.
I don't necessarily know it means it's the best though, because some people may not be adventurous enough. As you say, you're a missionary eater. Maybe it's that you don't feel like doing some lazy doggy with a thing of chocolate. You know what I mean?
You could, but you can think about it in different ways. Now, vanilla may well be the most popular because it pairs so well with things.
Yes.
Like I might be having it with
Milo.
with Milo or Ice Magic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like an apple pie.
But isn't that
Because you're
also...
not going to have chocolate ice cream with an apple pie.
No.
Now, you could also argue that with missionary,
You can
it's the foundation from which
other things can be birthed.
Other things can be birthed.
Absolutely.
Like you're not going to go, righto, bend over.
No.
You know
You
what
need
I
to
mean?
have missionary locked down before you can start trying,
Yes.
No, but I even think
Yes.
that I'm on
Can't go
more-
straight to reverse
But I'm
cowgirl.
on the ball with Eddie because
No, well, I mean, you can. It's not off done.
No.
I just think missionary gets a bad rap and vanilla ice cream gets a bad rap. It's also
I would also agree with that.
incorrectly maligned and associated with ordinary and boring when it is anything but that.
I am not against missionary or vanilla ice cream.
Sounds
but
like you are.
I certainly think that if you resign yourself to a life of just those two things,
That's
there's
like
just,
anything though.
There's a world outside of
If I
those
do
two things to
reverse cowgirl
experience.
girl every night, reverse cowgirl is just boring.
I would advise against that as well. I think you want to be trying to eat as many flavors as ice cream as possible.
But how is that associated with vanilla? That should just be associated with anything.
Well, it should. You're the one that fucking said it.
No, you're the one that's saying
No,
it.
you said you have
you're
missionary
saying vanilla
eating
is-
style.
You're saying vanilla is ordinary. I'm saying vanilla is the tippity top.
I'm saying it's not ordinary, but it's like the one that's
I think you said that all you do is eat vanilla ice cream, and
Yes.
he's saying you should try more
No,
flavors.
I said all I do is eat plain.
Yeah.
Like,
As in vanilla?
But then I said the vanilla ice cream theory. Vanilla ice cream didn't come in until the vanilla ice cream theory.
But you said
I was
you
talking
have
about
a
pizza.
You said you have a missionary like
Very
foods
simple,
taste.
simple.
Yes.
But that's not. I don't associate it with like boring and shit.
I'm saying if you've got something simple, it means there's other things that you can potentially be like adding to your repertoire.
Is your go-to condiment butter?
Yes.
Would you ever put like a nice jam on there,
Nah.
or a honey,
No.
or a
just
veggie?
peanut
Nutella?
butter. Peanut butter.
Do you like
Peanut butter.
Vegemite?
No.
You don't like Vegemite?
No.
Yes,
I mean, I can eat it. I don't hate it. But I
can eat it.
Sure, you can eat it. Like we could waterboard you, but like you prefer not to.
No, like
You're
if I-
probably the first person I've ever met that doesn't like Vegemite.
No, I don't like it and I don't not like it.
Okay.
But I don't have any in my fridge or my cupboard. Are you a tomato sauce in the fridge or freezer operator? Fridge or cupboard?
Oh, I prefer it in the cupboard. Mrs. prefers it in the fridge.
I'll put it in the fridge, but I don't care if it's in the cupboard. Doesn't bother me.
See, the fridge is
prefer
weird to
room
me.
temperature. Yeah,
I
I'm
like
with you.
room temperature.
I don't want to have ice cold tomato sauce. I
Yeah.
have to because I'm married and I have to do what I'm fucking told.
And it kind of like doesn't really
I don't care. by the
blend
way.
well.
Nah, it's
I put
fucking
my chutneys are in the fridge.
Chutney.
I'm a chutney guy.
mustards as well if you want them to keep.
Mustard's going. We've looked this up. Mustard's got to go in the fridge along with your chutneys. Keep your mustards and your chutneys close.
Where are we?
I don't know what we're talking about. Clemmer would be a good signing for the Brisbane Broncos.
Which he would.
He'd be a chutney man.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Oh, fuck yeah.
Okay, storm situation. Andrew Johnson said he can't see Nicho Hynes being in the 17 when everyone is back, saying Papa Newsom will be a fullback, Smith hooker, Grant and Kamakamika on the bench. Would be harsh considering his form this year. What are your thoughts? Do you think, because you guys were of the Nicho Hynes is actually the better fullback.
Pap's looking good.
Yeah.
He's come back looking good. I'm still a Nicho Hynes fan. Or
Yep.
Nicho Hynes
How
fan.
much is the hair adding to that, do you think?
Well, it's wet and delicious.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Actually,
it's
someone-
playing a huge role.
Someone messaged me, and I don't know if it was a G up or not, but he said that Nicho used to come down to help his 16s training or something, and he would always wet his hair because it would freeze and he didn't want it to freeze.
He obviously has curly hair.
Oh,
Nicho.
so that's why he plays wet.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want it to freeze.
Doesn't want it to freeze out.
Constantly wet though. I've never seen him without wet hair. I like it.
Because he
Obviously,
doesn't want it to be freezed
yeah.
ever.
I mean, we could get him a hair straightener, get him a GHD or whatever they're called, GHB.
Well, you could get it chemically straightened.
That sticks
Yeah.
around for a while, doesn't
I
it?
think
I
it's
think
like
he likes a bit of the
keratin
wave.
treatment.
I think he likes a bit of the wave though.
Okay,
Like,
so he doesn't want it like
just fully, he doesn't want it
Dead
fully
straight.
straight, but he also doesn't want it to freeze out.
He's a man in between hairstyles.
Yeah. Oh, he's setting trends though. He's
Yes.
setting trends.
Now, listen, the hair has a lot to do with it, but
I like the way he plays his rugby league
but
football.
It'd be
Is that a crime?
It'd be harsh for him to get.
I tell you what would be a crime.
Dropped.
If they get to a grand final and he's not a part of that 17,
Yeah.
that would be a crime.
After sitting on the bench for the
How is
entirety of it last year.
he's got to be in the 17.
Well, the great Joey is saying he doesn't see him.
Yeah, but he just offers so much because if Harry Grant goes on, Cheese goes to the back row.
So
There is room for him on a bench.
Well, you'd go. So you've got to have Big Nelson on the bench. You've got to have Kamika on the bench. You've got to have Grant on the bench. So
Yeah.
that's 3. So you're not going to carry probably 2 utilities because Grant will be considered like the utility.
So, what's he doing there?
Do you know what I mean?
How did he fit into their bench? Well, Grant wasn't playing.
Grant wasn't playing, and then, Grant wasn't playing. Like, whenever Pappy was back, Grant wasn't back, and then whenever Grant was back, Pappy wasn't back.
But instead of framing it as utility, you're framing it as X factor.
Yeah,
you come on to rip and tear.
But what about then you lose the size in the middle because then you only have...
No, of course, Smith goes to the back row.
Yeah, but he's not the biggest body. And then you got Kamika that would go the front row. What if an edge back rower goes down, or the rotation of the front rowers as well?
Shit fight City. It's
tough.
I feel bad for him because
It is
Joey,
tough.
it's hard to argue with Joey.
Would that be...
I'm not going to argue with Joe.
No.
I'm not arguing with Joey either. But would that be the biggest robbery of a grand final appearance in the history of rugby league with what he's done this year?
It'd be fucking close,
And then you got to sit around waiting for your ring. Like, I imagine the club would make him
he got one
but it'd
last
be
year as well. We're just like,
But it's
thanks.
not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same being out like...
It's not the same.
I reckon it would go down now. Probably not. I obviously, definitely don't remember everyone, but it would go down as one of the biggest. Like he's been probably top. Would you say he's definitely been in the top 10 of all players in the comp this year?
Yes.
He starts at every other club he's at.
Other
Every other
than-
club in the competition.
Every other club, he'd be in the 17 no matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Would you put him in the 17?
Fuck.
And if so, who would you remove?
It would have to be one of the forwards. So like, it wouldn't be Kamika, it wouldn't be Nelson. It would have to be like a fuck.
When you talking about centres and shit, putting him in the centres, like fucking off one of their sort of
That's
centre
the
wings.
only other option. And the good thing is that Jennings has, not the good thing, feel bad for saying that, but he's injured, I'm pretty sure. But I'll look at their...
Would you move like Remus to the wing?
But Remus has been real solid. But that's who...
But Olam's better.
Yeah. That's who I'd probably look at, Remus to the
Let's
wing.
be honest. No offense, but
Remus has been
a motherfucker.
real good.
Well, Olam's fucking, you can't touch Olam.
Man, it's round 24. It's fucking comfortable.
Year goes quick, especially when you lock down. Actually, that's wrong. It goes longer when you lock down because every day.
I think it goes quicker.
ground. You reckon?
In some weird way, yeah, I do, dude. Because it's like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
It's just like I wake up and it's the same fucking thing and it just happens.
And it all blurs into one. There's no
It's
like,
all blurred.
Yeah,
I've got
that's true.
I'm like, mate,
No
seriously.
events to pinpoint the progression of time.
No.
You know?
Very few.
I often don't know what day it is. Like,
Yeah.
certainly on weekends, I'm like, wait, what is it? A fucking?
I only
weekday?
know what day it is because of the podcast we do.
Yeah, that's true.
You took these out, I'd be all at sea.
100%. But I think that he could do a job at centre. The only problem is if some fucking throbber, if he's playing against like some specialist centre, you don't want him to do a number on him, you know?
Well, that's what I was going to ask as well because we were sort of talking. Just even like in the Moses Suli thing, and like he's dropped for this weekend for Manly, and I was sort of like, how the fuck's that possible? If you're just to trying to like shoehorn Nicho in, do you run the risk of then like upsetting the balance of the team?
Well, that's going to say Remus Smith has been one of, if not the best defensive centre in the competition, and so like there's so many plays that happen that don't get a lot of airtime that are important to a game's momentum, and so even little things like, let's say they go down the short side. Remus and Olam are big, strong defenders, so they can win that contact constantly. Whereas Nicho, he's not a big, strong defender. So even little things like, let's say he doesn't miss a tackle, but every tackle he gets dominated, that the whole set changes. Whereas if Remus Smith and Olam are coming at you, so it's just it's not as, I don't think it's as simple as, not that you're saying this, but it's as simple as, oh yeah, Nicho's killing it, we'll put him in the centres. Because as you said, it could upset how good they're going. But in saying that, he's literally been one of the best players this season.
in the competition.
In the competition, period, bar none.
Mate, would have to be fucking disheartening if you're Nicho and you read the great Joey Johns saying he doesn't see a spot for you the 17.
Mate, if I'm a player, I am literally...
I feel like your cards are marked a bit.
If he sees...
If Joey says it.
Yeah, no?
And hurts your confidence a little bit because you're like, fuck, like, what have I got to do to get a fucking, to be considered a starter?
Yeah.
I mean, if I was a player these days, I would, only follow positive shit and I wouldn't even look at papers, the news or anything. You know what I mean?
You wouldn't be able to.
Wouldn't even look at it. Only
Problem is, they're all on social media and it's everyone there.
And they get tagged and everything. But you have this thing where you can make it so you don't get tagged by anyone. I'd do that. I would have all that
So you can stop being tagged.
So no one can tag you unless they're either your friend, follow you, or so you follow them. So I would do shit like that. So randoms can't tag me. I'd probably turn off messaging to only friends as well. That's probably the best way to do it.
How do you get fucking Insta thoughts sliding in your DMs? It's catch-22. What do you do?
And it's just as important too.
Well, it is, mate. You're in your early 20s and you've just hacked the system where it's like now.
Well, I think you hire.
You've been chasing gals your whole life, and now it's like, oh, whoops,
you
there's
hire
600
an
in
EA.
my inbox.
Executive assistant to
Executive assistant.
There you go.
go
Now
through the
that's-
thoughts.
That would be good for rugby league
But they might be
players.
A
sneak-
TA,
they
a
might
thought
be
assistant.
Well, they might be stealing some thoughts from you though. Could you imagine if you had a thought assistant and he's like, "No, he's a dickhead. Come like." But if you message this guy, he's
Well,
fucking
no,
mad
because
dog.
I think contractually, you'd obviously make them sign something, and it'd have to be like, you are my, like, you know how the Pope is the God's representative on earth? The TA is like your representative in the DMs. So, like, they have to be you to the thoughts. And then if people are talking shit, they can just delete those, like the negative stuff.
But it could be a controversy where.
Well, but you could hire a straight female to do it,
Okay.
or a gay guy.
But if you hire, what if you hire a straight female, but she has higher standards and doesn't know that you're a grub that will do anything?
Hire a gay guy who understands your flavour.
He probably also.
And he can, and then you're short balling him all the gay guys that like the look of you.
But I don't.
Mutually beneficial there.
There we go.
But I'm gonna tell a deep harsh truth that I feel like you both agree with. I only think blokes know how grubby other blokes are.
That's why a gay man is probably
Gay
a
man.
helpful one in this situation.
They've got better standards than us.
I wouldn't be able to
always.
speak to that.
I don't think
you can.
always.
You
On
just find a meeting of the minds.
Like, I've got a good-looking mate, right? Fucking good-looking. And a lot of his inbox attention is from other guys. So a gay guy as a gatekeeper could be very handy.
See, I reckon his standards would be much higher than the average footy player.
I think, like anything, though, you have to find
Only
a
a footy-
common ground with whoever you're working with, and you find yourself an
As in-
absolute pig of a man who's like, I'm opening the doors for you, bro. I'm opening the doors.
See, maybe only a footy player can understand another footy player how he thinks. Maybe he needs to hire an either ex or coming up footy player, because I think you underestimate the grubbiness of a rugby league player.
So you reckon to be your thought advisor,
Yeah.
you need an ex-leaguey?
I think so. That's the only
But
man that's
surely the
qualified.
ex-leaguey.
Ex-leaguey's going to pilfer your bloody...
Yeah, he's going to...
You don't want someone with a name.
That's the risk
The
you run.
ex-leaguey probably already has a thought advisor of his own as well, unless it's one that only played like 20 games.
That's the risk you run.
What would you need to pay a thought advisor? For 50 grand a year?
Commissions.
Commissions on what?
On Shags.
Shags, you know, like on Thoughts in the
Shags
door.
rendered.
Thoughts in the door.
Yeah.
You go, all right, well, yeah, so it's per thought.
Thought-based commission. Okay. Makes sense.
Thought-based commission. So how much percentage are we talking here? Or like how
Well, look, I think you can work that out with your TA. I think that's one
TA.
where it's like, you know,
Would it be a sliding scale, Tom?
potentially.
would it can pound? Like,
Volume bonuses?
Well, all of those things. You know what I mean? It's like...
would also like,
It's like a sales job.
quality as well. You bring in a catch that you could, you know what I mean? If you,
Well,
they
the
bring in
thing
a
is as
catch-
well, you'd have to think about it. If the thoughts are in the DMs, then a lot of the advisor's work's already done because they're coming to you.
But yes. But all you're doing is they're just waiting through the bullshit for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Does
you
he
know,
get?
it's-
Does he get like, if he matches you up with someone crazy that's trying to ruin your life, is that termination worthy, or does he get like 3 strikes of like, oh, you put me in the paper for doing something I never did?
That's a great point.
Well,
Yeah.
it depends what your history's like. Like if you're Todd Carney, you know what I mean, and you post bubbler, you can't.
Your thought advisor's got to be watertight. He's got to be the best in the business.
Tight. You got to. Then you're spending the big bucks then,
Yeah.
because you're getting an
You're
elite
getting-
thought advisor.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're a new kid on the block, no one really knows who you are. You got a couple of fuck ups in you, at least from the public's perspective. Then you can be a bit looser with your thoughts.
How do you think you measure whether they're good at judging, you know, who they're going to let through the net?
Well, I think it's sort of...
Well, I think it'd be like sort of.
you got to learn on the run a little bit.
Well, it's like when you're applying for a job and they make you act it out, sort of.
you do a role play.
Let's do a role
sort
play
of thing,
here.
yeah.
So what role play would you do? Maybe.
Well,
you
I
should-
think that you could probably do one where it's like, you know, it's like you'd almost have some pre-planned out thought sort
Okay,
of
so,
scenarios.
Tom,
Thought scenarios.
I'm a thought. And
right.
I've just and you're his thought advisor.
Okay.
You're the player. I've just slid into your DMs.
All right, what have you done? How have you slid in?
Oh, well, I'm about to say,
Okay.
you killed it tonight. Wink face.
Well, I think this is early doors here because this isn't if I'm just being the thought advisor here and I'm not qualified.
And
I've
I've got 10K followers.
great start.
Bit of work done, but not too much. When it comes to my face and that.
Yes.
How many other leagues do you follow?
I follow just the big dogs.
Yeah.
Just the big dogs.
I'd just say you're proceeding with caution at this point, only because that's how all of them have to start out, is proceed with caution and just start a general conversation. Thanks, Dal. Just did our best. And just you're just talking the game, you know what I mean? And then see where it goes from there.
Okay, so new message, different thought.
Different day or different thought.
She follows New South Wales Cup and Quick Cup players and all the NRL players. So she's deep in the game.
Block.
So she doesn't even get through the...
Dude, what have you said to me actually first?
I've said to you, you've had such a great year. When's the next fan day?
It's disarming with the fan day. Well, I just give it the date.
You just give it the date?
Yeah, so 27th of October.
So I would actually fire you because that is disastrous. You know why it's disastrous? Because if she comes to the fan day and I'm a bit loose and a bit wild, maybe hungover from the night before because we know of a fan day, we know we're not training, that's a recipe for disaster because I might end up someplace in public with the fan doing something stupid.
See, this is why I couldn't do it.
Okay, so you've been fired.
You're not cut out to be a thought advisor.
I've just been sacked.
You've been sacked. You've
been sacked from the role play.
Well, I got to be honest. When those questions are coming at me, I was panicking. I didn't know what the fuck to do. I was like, I don't know how to handle this.
And that's why I say only a footy player
it's a great
can
point.
be a thought advisor.
It's a great point, but they're gonna steal. They're probably gonna roll.
That's the risk. If you're paying the good bucks, they're not going to steal.
That's
a
true.
Good point.
I like it.
Look, that's exactly right.
That was proof. You can't just pick a random and be a
It's
thought
tougher than you
advisor.
think.
It's fucking
It's a
way
minefield.
tougher than you think. I was
Jesus.
melting under that pressure.
That was not good.
I was just asking questions. Wait, what's she saying? Where are we? No, get me out of there.
Get him
Yeah,
out.
I'm not cut out for that.
You nearly had your whole life ruined by this bloke.
I know, and I'm sitting here going, what the fuck? Like it was role play.
Yeah, I know. That would have been fucking...
Fucking hell. Imagine you on the back page with your pants down in the middle of a park somewhere.
Yeah, I know. On fan day.
Yeah, on fan day. And I'm just fucking...
In the bloody Portaloo.
Lucky we did that. Lucky.
Oh, fuck. That's ridiculous. That is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right. Knights v Titans. Clemmer accepts his one match suspension for lashing out and hitting Luke Thompson whilst he was getting up. Frizzell is back from suspension. Peachy named at 5'8" with Ash Taylor out. What have you got in this game?
I like the Titans, I think.
Well,
I just think the Knights have got a bit flat.
they looked like shit on the weekend. Was it the Dogs they were playing?
The Knights play the Dogs.
Yeah. It just was like, oh, God, this is it.
They've gone flat as attack.
They've gone flat.
I just don't like the footy they're playing. I don't know if that's Michael or about even, who's just sort of like clouding my judgment.
Yeah.
But whenever I watch them, I'm like, they're not good at all.
The Titans just look like they had some pizzazz.
Do you think there's a
against
bit of
the Storm.
internal anger or hate towards Michael that's clouding your Knights' judgment?
No. He hates the Knight. Like, he hates the brand of football they play. And
He's a Knights fan.
He's a Knights fan.
Yeah.
But he badges on and on and on
okay.
and on and on about it. And so when I watch, I'm just sort of watching through this prism of negativity, at least from his perspective. But they don't seem to have much oomph.
No.
You know? Whereas like Jaden Campbell's a
Jaden Campbell,
motherfucker.
he is a
Tyrone Peachy
motherfucker.
at 6 I like. Like, the Titans seem to be up and about, and I just think they'll get the job done, personally.
And I think Fafita's looking for a bounce back game. A lot of is he coming off the bench again? There was a lot of chat about Fafita's performance last week.
Tino.
Big Tino. Love me some Tino.
To be honest with this game, I'm actually, from a betting standpoint, I'm not even picking results because it's just one of those ones where you're like, this time of the year as well, you're like, who the fuck knows?
You're a fence sitter.
I'm just picking try scorers.
I do think, though, with an extra week under their belt of Pearce, Clifford, Ponga and Brayley together, that does help. But you're right, there was a bit of flatness and there was a bit of lack of ability to score points with all the weapons they actually do possess.
Against a side that is not very good at defending points.
Oh,
A
this is
leaker
tough
of
one.
rugby league points, Tom.
Yes.
Look, I'm going to go Titans because they desperately need to win to get in, whereas Knights, they're basically locked into the 8. Basically, they still could. I think
Isn't that hilarious?
that is crazy to think. The year that they've had that they're going to make the 8 is crazy. I'm going Titans.
Nice.
Yep.
Titans?
Yeah.
All Titans?
Yep. Well, Tom,
I'm not-
sitting
I'm
on
just-
the fence.
I'm
He's
I just said
weak.
from a betting
No, he's
context.
weak.
You're still rattled from the thought assistants, to be honest.
Dude, I've never been a thought assistant ever. I promise you that. That's one thing we can promise.
So you're not picking.
No, I just said Titans, but
Okay.
I'm saying like if from a punting context, I'm just going try
I
scorers.
tell you what. So we got Raiders versus Warriors. Have you ever seen someone or a community turn on a hot boy as quickly as they turned on Reece Walsh just because he missed a couple of conversions.
See, I was trying to follow. I was like, was he getting fucking ripped apart? Was he for missing goals? I'm like, the guy's 18 and he was just like, give me the ball, let me try and rip and tear for my team.
The disrespect.
You guys would be fucked without him. Let's be honest.
Yeah, disrespect a young hot boy like that.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's how you lose a hot boy.
That's how. Of course.
Even hot boys miss kicks.
Yeah.
And look, they would have won the
Especially
game,
young
but that's
hot
all right.
boys.
That's all right. Not the end of the world.
Yeah, relax, Warriors. Why don't you win more games?
What I couldn't believe is like when the game finished, like it didn't even cross my mind to be like, oh, Reece Walsh played shit. Because he actually played, like he played mad. He just didn't kick the goals. But then like Payne Haas put up a post being like, basically saying like, no one can bag this kid, blah, blah. And I was like, what? And then I saw some of the comments. I was like, what the heck? Like,
yeah, no, I was completely confused. I didn't at the same thing. I didn't think like, oh, Reece Walsh lost him that game. I was like, Reece Walsh was half the fucking reason they were even close to winning.
Yep.
And also that last try they got was horse shit. So who cares?
that last. Okay,
ridiculous.
no, actually, I'm not going to talk about it.
No.
And yeah, just for clarity as well, there were some people that were like, with the Penrith South chat of the start of last episode, I still think Penrith are gun, and I still think they could have won that game against South. We were just saying that we thought the ref was poor. But going forward, we are not going to talk about the refs and the MRC negatively anymore. We'll just be like, if something bad happened, we'll acknowledge it and then we'll move on. Because I don't want to talk about it either. There's nothing worse than the refs already have a tough-as job. Yes, it is relevant to the game that if they cost a club, a team, a game. But at the same time, I just hate, just that, you know how you just get frustrated, you get more frustrated?
There's just a thing I think when you've got, when you get stuck in a referee bunker yarns, is that yarn is the same every single time you have it.
Yeah.
So if you talk about something that happens in a game, it's unique to that game. But referee fuck-ups are just kind of how'd the bunker get that wrong? Oh, the referees aren't good enough. It's always kind of, you feel like you're just having the same conversation again.
Fucking oath. Absolutely. So we won't be talking about that much at all going forward, guys. So don't worry. It's not enjoyable. But Warriors v the Raiders. I'm going the Raiders.
I'm just trying to think back. How have they bounced back from adversity? When they've been the talk of the town, how do they play?
Corey Horsburgh back.
The great Horsburgh.
Love that.
Klokstad.
After playing for the Dogs last week,
And
did
lost
he?
his photo.
Lost his photo. How do you lose Corey's fucking photo?
Well, he must have lost his photo rights, Tom.
Wow. So I've got Ryan Sutton, but they've got Ryan Sutton 13. Horsburgh is demoted. Wow.
And had his photo privileges removed, which is...
There's something going on there.
There's something going on there. Well, there's
a lot of politics there. Do you reckon Ricky's leaked his photo and then lost it?
And then lost the photo. Well, listen, this could be a whole thing about trying to find out who the Raider rat is. So, and I'm not saying Corey is. There's no way Corey is. Corey's a stand-up man.
Stand-up man.
Maybe you know what's happened here is maybe Ricky's trying to find out who the rat is, and he's going to try to find out who leaks to the paper that the photo isn't there. You know what I mean? The story of the yarn of how the photo disappeared.
Maybe that photo pops up somewhere and it's like, oh, okay, we know who the rat stole that photo.
Because it's almost disrespectful to not have a red in your team when you know what I mean?
You show off a red when you got a red.
When you got a red that's as pure as a guy like Corey.
Well, you're telling me that NRL.com don't have a photo of a red?
Well, he played 2 fucking games for the Dogs. It's not like his photo ceases to exist now on the Raiders.
Also, are you telling me that you can't Photoshop his head onto a Raiders jersey?
Yeah, I'm sorry. In 2021, when you can
could do that.
I could do that.
You can do face swap and shit.
Yeah, there's literally deep fakes of
Exactly.
And you can't get a great, beautiful red man on there when you've already got the photo. There's clearly some deep issues going on.
Huge.
That's disrespect.
It goes all the way to the top, this one.
The NRL has chosen not to put his photo there. What have they got against Reds? Maybe there's some kind of red hater there.
Unfortunately, there seems to be. Disappointing to see
I can't see it any other way.
No.
So Corey's been just because I can't see.
No, it's red hate.
It's definitely red hate.
No other red.
There's no other red.
It's red hate.
It's red hate.
That's all it is.
Wow.
That's cut and dry red hate.
I think cut and dry red. It's a case of red hate if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think I'd see it in 2021.
I thought we were past the red hate.
I thought red hate was behind us.
I thought we'd even gone into the love of Reds. You know
I thought this was the time of red love.
Yeah.
Clearly not.
Clearly not. That's crazy. Goes to Bulldogs for 2
Probably
weeks.
prescribes to gingers don't have souls.
Yeah, some of those sick fucks.
Disgraceful.
Mate, Reds are people too. So whoever's working in NRL and they've done this, need to have a good look at
They got an axe to grind.
Maybe a red bashed him when he was younger.
Might have.
Or her.
Or, well, I mean, who knows?
Hopefully it was a red girl, not a guy bashing a chick.
Well, no, that'd be horrible.
That would be disgusting. Actually, matter of fact, if that is true, I understand why you didn't put the picture.
Well, sure. Now,
if it's a guy?
If it's... Is this getting away from us?
Have we been lost? Are we lost in the dribble?
Have we lost it? I think we're going to get us back.
We got lost in the dribble there.
We got lost in the dribble. That happens. That happens to the best of you.
Look, I think it's just our love for the big red.
That's all it is.
I'm going Raiders.
I'm going Raiders.
Off the back of that chat, I'll have to go Raiders.
Yeah. And it's hard for you to go the Raiders.
It's hard for me.
But
They'll
Raiders.
lose.
Look, if they've got to play better than that chat, so...
Me getting on Raiders means I'll lose. So load up on the Warriors if you're listening.
Yeah.
Now, Rabbitohs versus Roosters.
Match of the round?
Match of the round. I can't wait for this because I actually think they're both in Roosters. So Trent Robinson said the best quote ever this after the game on the weekend against Dragons. He said, "It's at the start of the year, it felt like we were lightweights and they were heavyweights, and it feels like we've put on weight each week." And I think that's so true. Like
that's a cool.
Like they've slowly pushed towards like. Could you imagine this? Is it so crazy to think that the Roosters go boom, they knock off a Rabbitohs in the semis, and then boom, knock off a Penrith, and all of a sudden they're in a grand final? Like that's a very real possibility.
Yeah. It's not impossible.
Because like they're going to make the top four, so they'll play.
They may not make the top four if they lose this game.
Well, if they lose this game, but let's say they make the top four, they'll play Rabbitohs again.
No, they'll play Storm.
Storm.
They'll play Storm. So that, like it's a very real like with the way Storm have been playing as well, which is not as good. Obviously, they're still the number one team in the comp. Imagine they knock off Storm and then they knock off a Rabbitohs.
And then they're in.
They're in the grand final. Could you, like, that's...
Well, it'd be like the most brave, best season you've ever seen from a team, like, under the most adversity.
That's a real reality, which blows my mind to think after everything they've been through this year.
Is Josh Morris dropped or injured?
I think he's injured. Fuck, they're so tough for a team that doesn't get associated with toughness.
Well, for like a team that everyone just talks about, it's always been this, salary cap sombrero bullshit, which is fucking true, but it's just like, look how deep they actually roll. Like they've lost so much talent over the season.
They're rolling. They've got three no photos.
Three no,
that's got to be a record.
That has to be a record.
3 no photos.
Certainly for a finals-bound team. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Dogs are 99% no photo, but... For a top four side, that's ridiculous.
Top 4 3 no.
I don't think you've ever seen that.
I don't even know if they're real people. I've never heard of Ben Thomas in my life, and that's no disrespect to Ben if he does exist, but that might just be like a placeholder. They've gone, we don't know who the fuck's playing.
Yeah, just put in a common name.
Yeah, Ben Thomas. 2 first names, easy. No one's going to ask questions. We will. We'll ask the fucking questions.
You ask hard questions.
Well, you got to keep them honest.
Who are you going to? Rabbitohs, Roosters.
I think the Rabbitohs.
Yeah, I'm going Rabbitohs.
I just think they run out of puff.
The Roosters?
Yep. Well, I mean, they're not running out of puff, but also it's the fucking Rabbitohs, and they're just missing too many men.
Yes. Like the Rabbitohs, when they were on against the Panthers, were like, oh, this is a motherfucking
Like the first 20 minutes, you were like, oh.
Yeah, Rabbitohs dominated the game.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then Nathan Cleary pulled his big fat dick out and just said, hey, you
come with me, boys, and started
come with me.
lassoing people.
And he
jump on.
Literally, the bombs he was putting up, fuck, he's so good. He's such a good footy player. It's a joke. That's what's another thing that's like frustrating, even for Penrith fans. Yes, they got the penalty count, but they got robbed of a clean win as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, we shouldn't be talking about the penalties. We should be talking about Nathan Cleary's huge cock.
That's, you know what? Like, why wasn't that on the back page?
Why wasn't it? I mean, fuck.
Seriously.
If you want to move papers, get that on the back page.
Get that thing. You'll have to have it coiled, obviously, because it's too big, but, like, you can do it. Like, you can fit it on.
Even when you open it, it could come with, like, a little figurine of his cock.
Like a...
A key ring.
Yeah,
you carry it with you everywhere.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. You'd have to get that from the news agent. They'd have to keep it behind the counter, I'd say. But like,
in a Happy Meal or something.
Yeah,
clear his cock.
R-rated Happy Meals. They'd fly.
Yeah,
and it's just dick-shaped things.
Yeah, that's
hot dogs and shit.
There's something in that. There's something in it.
Oh fuck. We've lost the... Oh, well, I've lost my shit. I'm going to go...
You want to go Roosters?
I do.
Just do it.
I do.
Just do it, dude.
Fuck. You know what? Roosters for the upset.
Okay, there you go.
Roosters for the upset.
There you go.
I just think that maybe Rabbitohs, they played, it was such a physical game last week. Maybe they're a little bit flat. And even though Rabbitohs are clearly the better side on paper, I don't know. I think the Roosters, Roosters for the upset.
Shout out to Mark Nichols, starting prop, just for being one of the great nut truckers.
Oh, one of the great nut truckers. And his face suits the nut trucker.
So it's a nut trucker's face, nut trucker's
Well,
body.
nut truckers have nut trucker faces.
Yeah.
From the nut trucking.
By virtue of being a
Well,
nut trucker.
because they've trucked so much nut.
Yeah.
Now on to the Dragons v the Cowboys. Who you got?
Oh, this will be a thrilling match. 3 p.m. Saturday.
Yeah.
Fuck, we'll all be on the couch, won't
Yeah, we will.
I think that the Dragons will win.
Yeah, so do I. Now,
What am I basing that on? Vibe.
and a Freddie Lussick, no photo. He'll probably score.
It's crazy how Roosters have all these injuries and they still loan Freddie Lussick out. That's how much they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't. That's some
But they're
alpha,
like, but
that's
they've
alpha.
loaned him out on one condition.
What?
That he doesn't get a photo.
He's not allowed to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Play for the Dragons.
I am going to go the Dragons. I thought there were glimpses of good footy there. I really like Amone. He's awesome.
Tyrell Sloan.
Sloan. I like Sloan.
Throbber.
Fee guy.
And Sloan keeping Dufty out of the side, right? Dufty not injured?
I don't think so. And I think he had a couple errors on the weekend. I'm going Dragons.
Yep.
Yep.
Dragons. Blake
Okay.
Laurie, also a nut trucker.
Oh. Sharks v the
Of note.
Broncos. Match of the round.
Look at that. Selwyn,
missing a
what the
couple.
fuck?
Oh! What's going on? Albert Kelly.
Selwyn
has a photo.
Cobbo, Albert Kelly,
Okay, what?
Danny Levi,
Danny
and
Levi's
Rabati.
been there all year.
Mate, what is going on?
That's the record.
That is the record. 4 no photos.
But again, it's not really because you come in second last, so that makes sense.
That's the disrespect.
But it's
of
actually
no
just
photos.
it's the players. Like
Albert Kelly. What, he doesn't have a photo?
Danny Levi's
you
played for
serious?
5 NRL clubs, and Selwyn Cobbo's played a fucking.
He's a young
He's played a
throbber.
bunch of games though
He's
for
a
the
gun.
Broncos.
I like Selwyn Cobbo.
Same.
I'm going Broncos 13 plus, 15 plus. Sorry.
The Sharks actually look pretty fucking good on them.
I'm going the Sharkies.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Sharks.
I think you come back to
What about
earth.
Metcalf?
Dude, fast as
good.
fuck. I was annoyed when Manly let him go.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we got too many throbbers. Not that
You
it's
can't
about
have 'em all,
Manly.
Tom.
You can't have them all.
Can't have 'em all.
So shout out to Luke. Want to see you do well, bro.
Yeah, Sharkies.
Sharks.
Sharkies, I'm going Broncos 15 plus. Storm versus Para. This is like $9.
$9, that's so
That's value.
good.
That's value though. They've already beaten them this year.
Damn it.
That's
It's value because they've beaten
massive
this
value.
year.
That's, you don't think that's a
On
massive value
form,
bet?
on form.
That's massive value bet.
But I hear you, but it's not because they're
But
so
I don't see
shit.
you.
I think that if you're looking for value, an Eels side that's already beat the Storm once this year, I understand they haven't been going that well, but sometimes crazy
I
things happen.
hear you. I would say if you're a betting man or woman, just have a little on it. But like, no way did the Storm lose this one.
I'm
Do
going
they-
Eels for an upset.
Or do you think it's a case of Eels got pounded by the Roosters, they got pounded by the Rabbitohs, they got pounded by Manly? Is this the final pounding?
Actually, just quickly before I forget, Roosters have only lost to top 5 sides. That's how good they've gone. So every team they're supposed to beat, they beat. Sorry.
No, that's all right. This will round out a lovely sort of month and a half of poundings.
Yes. Is this the final pound?
They've got. I don't know who they play last, but
But no, but of the elite sides,
of
they've been
elite
pounded
pounding.
by all of
Yeah.
them.
This is almost
Is
like.
this the final pounding?
What,
Yeah.
what if they beat them? What are you going to say? Like, is it
I'll congratulate them. Like, well done.
I'm asking the question:
No, no.
is this the final?
It won't
pounding?
be the final pounding because they play Penrith next week.
Yeah. They had the hardest run home. That's why. That's why we were saying that
Oh, so this is the second last, the penultimate pounding.
Yeah.
this is a second last thrust.
Yeah.
The final thrust will be next week.
I like penultimate pounding.
Penultimate pounding.
Purely from an alliteration standpoint.
It's going to be a pounding of epic proportions. They've got.
So what, you going Storm 13 plus?
Storm 13 plus and plenty of tries.
Yeah. I'm even thinking about Storm covering the line of like 21 points. It's bold, I know.
They haven't been going as well though, the Storm. Like last few weeks, they've been a bit shaky. I think it's because the game has slowed down and they're giving away more penalties, so it's like brought the field back
Field
together.
back.
That's why
From a scoreline perspective.
Yeah,
anyway.
Raiders have kind of come back into it because they're a bigger, kind of slower side. But yeah, I'm going obviously Melbourne Storm.
You going for a pounding?
Going for a pounding.
There we go.
A missionary pounding.
In for a penny, in for a pounding.
Great saying.
Yeah.
My favourite.
Manly versus
Uh-oh.
the
60 nil.
Bulldogs.
Uh-oh.
Is Tommy back? Yes.
Yes, he is.
60
Full
nil?
strength.
65 nil?
60,
70 nil?
70 nil. Is 80 nil? Is that out of the
80,
question?
85 nil?
What's 100 nil paying?
Good question to ask.
Tell you what, shout out to the Bulldogs for having all of their team's photos.
Yeah, how's that happen? We get fucking stitched with 4 no photos.
That's fucking impressive.
Well,
That's you know what? Take the wins. Take the wins, Bulldogs.
And Trent showed some loyalty, I think.
Yeah. Well, Trent had to take all
Kyle's
the photos
back.
himself, unfortunately.
He's back last week. Look,
Kyle back.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm
Missed
going Bulldogs 13 plus.
Well, now, how does your audience even, how does anyone...
You know what? You're only discrediting your brand
Yeah.
by saying shit like that because everyone's like, this guy's a fucking joke.
Got him. We got him.
Fucking ridiculous.
No, you lost your credibility, mate.
Done.
It's in the toilet.
Nah.
Yes. Oh, that's great. That's great.
I'm, in all honesty, 50 nil.
Yeah, what are the Dogs paying?
The Dogs are paying $13.
That's ridiculous. They should be paying $50.
I'm going Sea Eagles 13 plus.
Manly by shitloads.
Panthers v the Tigers.
Panthers by shitloads.
By pounding?
By a pounding. Yeah, another good pounding.
Panthers to pound West
It's the
Tigers.
Sunday pounding, Manly and
I think it's
Panthers.
just a pound.
But you know what's crazy?
You wake up, you go for a walk, you have a nice late breakfast, and you settle in for
brunch.
a weekend or
A
after
Sunday
another
of pounding.
poundings.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy is like West Tigers, like the games they're supposed to get up for, they don't. And then the games they're not supposed to get up for, they do.
They do. But
You know,
I think
so
the
like-
Penrith are going to be like, you beat us last time. You treated it like a real win.
But
in
you
your
know, if there's one game where they're going to surprise everyone, do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, they're a DMC. That's the DMC rule.
They essentially can't make the finals. They turned up last week, put 50 on them against a team that was also trying to fight like in the same position on the table as them. This is like the game where they come out and like do
You reckon
something
they can
crazy.
win?
No, I just think
It'll be like Panthers 1 to
it
12.
It would like suit the
DMC rule.
the shocking nature of the way they turn, like games that they're not supposed, like for example the Tommy Rodonigus one, it was like the one game they're supposed to turn up for, they didn't, and then a few weeks later they come out and put 30 or something on the Penrith Panthers, even though they're missing a few people.
Top or back.
Big thick dick on the flank.
Love
fat
seeing
dick on the
that.
flank. Sorry, Panthers obviously 13 plus.
Yeah.
Panthers
13 plus.
for a pounding.
And that is it. That is it for the week, guys. Make sure to follow Hello Sport on Instagram, Punters and Dribblers on Facebook. Beer soon, shirts. Official Hello Sport Bloke shirts coming next Wednesday, 6 p.m. in these colours. We also, our Bloke hoodies as well are dropping on that night. But as usual, I'll go and fuck myself. Thank you.